you're 6 feet under, it's a wonder how. Stream beats. Stream beats. Shit. Hello, everybody. Alright. Just 1 second. It's a bit loud. There we go. Hello. I'm just gonna wait for the chat to slow down a little bit so I could read. Still floating in space. Ha. Chat go brr, yeah. There is no slowing down. No, there will be, I think. Oh. Let me check. Stream settings. Let's see. No, I don't know how to slow it down. I'm using YouTube's new streaming thing. Because I figured they're probably going to get rid of the original streaming settings. Wow. Hello, everybody. Still in space. What's going on here? Hope the music's not too loud. I hope my mic's not too loud as well. Hello. You may take our lives, but you may never take our spam, chat. I respect it. I respect the fight. Oh yeah, I'm still in space. We still in space here. 2020 is space year. Is a light year. It feels like a fucking light year. That doesn't make sense. It feels like a light year in that it's really hard to comprehend. Just letting you know, man. Animating is starting to become a pain. Oh, shit. Become a chore and you are starting to feel back pain. Please take a break, bro. Oh, I only ever feel back pain during streams now. Because for some reason that's that one's harder. That one's way harder for me to recognize that I'm hurting my back. No idea. Super excited for the interactions between Connor and the salesman in the episode. Can't wait for this episode. Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to to make it. Alright, well, we got some letters. Good fun. We evolved from monkeys so I could watch Lord Bung at 4 a.m. We did. You did, at least. I'm not watching myself. Fuck that shit. I got better things to do. I think I'm just might, Quick question. How'd you get into making SCP vids? Well, one day I just made the first episode of Confinements thinking it was just going to be a one-off thing or maybe like a thing I'd do in the background of my main stuff, but nope, it accidentally became my main thing and I kind of put a lot of love and energy into it. Born just in time to watch Lord Bung. Appreciate it. How long is episode 8? It'll probably be pretty long. It's kind of got a plot and a B plot that I'm working on, so It's probably gonna be a bit long, but I'm not gonna try and make it obscene. You know, like I don't want to make it like half an hour or something. That'll be a little bit too long, I think. Can't hear song. You can't. Can you hear the background music? I'm not playing the song from the trailer, if that's what you're asking. Although I would like to, but I'm not sure I have the. I'm not sure I have the permission. Do, 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 do. How do you pick the music? I don't know. It just has to have a kind of. I don't really know. I'm not really a musical person in the sense that I know anything about music, like or really just how to do anything about it. I did just get a little MIDI keyboard today though, so I am planning to get into music, but I don't know, there's just like a certain kind of intensity to it that I like. So like with Zelinski's song, I really wanted something that was really, really, really intense and involved just the concept of death. Like it doesn't matter in the end because we're all gonna die. Like a really nihilistic song, because I wanted to use it for a nihilistic part of the episode. I don't want the whole overall series to be nihilistic. I just want some parts of the series to be. This episode is going to delve deep into some really unhealthy mindsets, and it's going to be visualized through the facility, like what the facility does to its people, to its inmates. Do you think episode 8 will be out before the end of this month? Probably not. No. I was very, very, very immensely held back by some problems. But I'm back on track now, so things are moving smoothly now. I've just been held back quite a lot. So I hope people aren't assuming that I'm going to be real good. Real, like, that. I hope people aren't assuming I'm almost done, because I'll be very disappointed. Oh, thank you for the $2, Arcade Assassin. Keep up the good work, Bungo. Thank you. Get out of here. Sorry. What am I looking at? We just chillin'. I'm gonna put some stuff out here in space. Yeah. Let me get some aliens out here. Oh man, that'd be so. I wish I could just copy paste dumb gifs into into OBS. 1 second, everybody. I just need to add a good image. There we go. We are in space. Yes. Alright, we did it. So hey, Lord Bong. Poggers. Thank you. I'd appreciate no spamming, because I just want to be able to, like, read read people's questions and stuff. Just people screaming Pog now. Never mind. I'm not sure why I was expecting anything else. Oh, thanks for the $5, Zach. Hey, Lord. Dying curiosity. What software do you use for your animation and rendering? I use Sony Vegas Pro 13. I don't recommend that other people do it. I'm just doing it because that's what I had, and I've been too stubborn to change my mind and use a different program. So, yeah, that's just kind of how I'm doing it. It also sort of forces creativity a little bit, but it does have its limitations, I will admit. But I like it. I like the changes that I'm able to make, you know. Just want to ask, how long do you think the Confinement series will last? Maybe up until episode 10, and then hopefully I'll have ideas for another season. I mean, I have a lot of ideas, but hopefully it's coherent and I feel the same way about it. You know what I mean? I use Sony Vegas 13 for my own stuff. Glad I'm not the only one. Hell yeah. Good. You are not alone, brother. Oh man, just the other day I was just going for a walk, and this bald man with a little mustache who's carrying his boots in one hand, like the walk of shame, you know, after you've just had sex in college. And he had this little parrot on his shoulder, and they both looked at me at the exact same time and gave me the parrot didn't nod, but it's just like this acknowledgement, this kind acknowledgement. And they were so in sync. It was incredible. Just thought I'd share that with you all. If you could all, if you've seen this man, I need to get in contact with him. Oh, man. He's streaming so much. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do like a once a week stream. We're just chilling out. Man, I'm just tempted to not even look at chat now. All of the spamming. Damn. This is gonna be my punishment to you guys. Now the whole class has to suffer. I'm just looking away now. I'll tell a story. I do want to look at chat. Damn, I hate being popular. Fuck, man. I thought I had slow chat. Thanks for the $10, JD. I was in a psychiatric hospital for a year, and your videos are the only thing I watch. A nurse brought me out of an episode by telling me you uploaded. You're a lifesaver. Holy shit. Wow. I was about to say that's crazy, but that's a bit insensitive to the context of your situation. But holy shit, that was amazing. Wow. Yeah, I've actually heard of similar experiences involving psychiatric wards in my show. So maybe there's maybe something's happening here. Why do you laugh like a Dutch woman? What does that mean? Dutch people don't laugh. I hope you're doing better, man. Thank you. Calcium-based life form. $3. End of series. Dino bung heel kicks bung in the face. Let's go. Yeah. Hey, no spamming there, buddy. I'm gonna time you out. Yeah. I appreciate a lot of people are really enjoy the music in the show. Can confirm Dutch people don't laugh. Specifically, where did you come up with this idea of Connor? I won't ask the universe because we all know it, but where did Connor come from in your brain? Well, Connor is kind of... When I first came up with him, it was just an excuse to use a character who... essentially just a fucking miserable character. Who has this uncanny ability to just be used as an excuse to be disposable. So you can kind of project onto him like a genuine lack of a sense of a neglected child. You know what I mean? Like I think a lot of people can project to some degree onto a character that is like, they'll get over it. You know, I'll treat them shitty, they'll get over it. And you know, deep down inside you're like, no, this sucks. This really sucks. If I had a choice, I would. This has to stop. That's kind of what I wanted a character to be like. Do you watch anime, or am I just a piece of trash? Both. And I'm also a piece of trash. Hey Bung, no question. Just wanted to say thank you for your awesome work. Take your time because the waits are always worth it. Stay cool. Thank you, Theo Pickering, for the £5. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'll be. I will be taking my time, but I will be working basically every day except Sunday. $2 from Ant Lord Snake Lord. Do you think episode 8 will be out in a week or two? Definitely not that soon, but thank you for the $2. The game is against Swede. I might reference them, but I'm not sure I'll put them in the universe. I know they're in the SCP universe. You guys should look those up. That's a lot of fun. Ugh. Oh, shit. In a percentage, how finished are you? I can't say that. Because I don't know. It's difficult to say. But there is a long way to go, so y'all are going to have to be patient. Is it a 2020 release? I sure hope so. Where'd you find the song In the Pines, or did you make it yourself? It's like one of my favorite songs right now. No, it's a cover of that. I think it's a Nirvana song originally, unless Nirvana did a cover. In the Pines, or Hey Girl, I think they call it. But the one that I use is a Danny Farrant cover, which I heard in a trailer to the Brian Fuller series, American Gods, based on the Neil Gaiman book. Definitely go check out American Gods if you're into mythology, religion, and I don't know, Hannibal, like the Hannibal series, the same director, so it has this really nice aesthetic. Will Annie from Anomalies be referenced? You'll see. Thank you for the £2, a Dorito. How long is episode 8 gonna be? Probably more than 20 minutes, but I don't want it to be more than 30 minutes. $5 from Goof Troop. My mate. That's not a containment breach. This is a content. Thanks for the $5, Goof Troop. The O5 Council looks cool. Thank you. Thank you, username Michael Kids. Thank you for adding such great content to the SCP community. You and the Exploring series. Oh shit. I almost lost it. Probably my favorite YouTubers now. Thank you. I appreciate that. How much time does a regular episode take? Well, that's a tough question to answer because each episode gets made differently, in that I'm adding new things to it. I'm trying to add new creative things to it. So it actually ends up just being longer and longer each time. Yeah. Thank you for the $23, senior ass. Love your content, man. Thank you, senior ass. Guys, good night, and you too, Lord Bung. Good night, calcium-based life form. Jeez. You came up with a great idea to use Jane Fine Day as a song for the Forest episode. That was me. I find that song very creepy. I know some people actually find that song weirdly relaxing, but I find it really disturbing. I don't know why. Because it's a calm song otherwise. I have so many questions. Are you really in space, or did the Foundation abduct you? Man, no, I'm really in space right now. I really do be in space. Do you work with a team? I have a co-animator and other people who I go to for specific help, and of course there are the voice actors and the musicians, and I even have a sound guy But we're not like in the same building or anything. It's kind of relative. Thank you for the $5 chill block. Hey Bung, love your work. How come you make different designs for SCPs with an already known appearance? Well, because if I'm just drawing exactly how they look, but in 2D, then I feel like I'm not really adding anything. Even though it's just a small thing, which is just making them look a little bit different. But, yeah, I'm not really adding anything, am I? If I'm just drawing them exactly. It's just a reference, and I don't really want my show to be that. Love the show. Hope this helps. Love Ivory's tunes from Chef. $2. Thank you, Chef. Appreciate it. And Ivory's tunes are amazing. They're coming out with a new album soon, actually. Let's see. Yeah. Alright, I've already answered some of these questions and then just keep getting spammed. So enough of that spamming, please. Okay, well. Ugh. You're gone now. Goodbye. You've been warned many times. What do you use to animate? Because I want to animate... I don't know what you're trying to say there. I think you're trying to jokingly say hentai. Ugh. Well, you just animate what you want. And animate in whatever program you want. Try turning on slow mode. I couldn't find it in this new and improved YouTube streaming. I'm just gonna go look for it. It couldn't be that hard to find. I'm sorry, chat. I'm just gonna look away for a quick second. Live stream settings. Yes, please. Ah, there we go. Yes. Wow. This is gonna make my life so much easier. Hare Krishna, we've done it. We've done it. You and improved, yeah. Have you ever dealt with creative burnout, and do you feel restrained by the SCP community's expectations? Sometimes well, to answer the first one, yeah, sometimes I do. But that, I find, actually has a lot more to do with how I'm treating myself and a lot less to do with work that is being forced on me. Because no work is being forced on me. I just treat myself poorly sometimes. And as a result, I might blame the work, or I might blame... and that's not to discount people who do actually have an insane amount of workload. I'm just talking about my experience as somebody who's my own boss. It's because I treat myself poorly sometimes, or I used to a lot more in the past, that I would burn myself out with the work. Yeah, so I've definitely done that before, but because I am in total control of this now, I should be good. I'll answer the second question in a second. Thank you for the 125, I'm assuming that's pesos. You're the man that got me back in SCPs. I'm glad. I hope you're enjoying the SCPs on the wiki. Having a good time. To answer the second question, do I feel limited by the expectations of the SCP community? No. I mean, I do feel limited in the sense that there are these certain expectations that I don't get to enjoy as much, but like there are some SCP Wiki fans who really want me to do specific references, and even though I don't feel like I have to because I want to do my own thing, I'm still gonna be like, well, I do feel a little bit sad that I'm not gonna be able to fulfill this very specific thing that they want. But I'm sure they understand. Well, I'm sure most of them understand that, and I know I understand that definitely. So I'm not really bummed out about it. It doesn't feel like much of a limit. Do we get to know Ragnir's father's name, or is he just like a father, like in a church or something? I haven't really thought about naming him. In the script, he was just priest. So yeah, I guess he would be a father and a father, or maybe I'm just using priest in the shamanistic term of like old-timey priest. He is, either way, he is the father figure of this character. He's the patriarchal figure of this character. And it's meant to be like this cycle of, he was a bad father, so his son ends up being shitty, and it's just this permanent cycle. Almost permanent cycle. Are we going to see anything about Andy from The Salesman? Oh, you'll see. You cutting Connor's psychologist out of the show? Well, not out of the show. I'm listening to both this stream and my teacher ramble and scrambling to take notes. We vibing. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm literally just reading all the questions now. Do you think you'll grow sick of this or already get tired of this series? No, not of the series. Definitely get sick of like the way I used to treat myself when working on the series. It's not to say I won't find more excitement in other things at the same time. If this series comes to a climactic finish, what other brand spanking new series are you going to work on? I don't know, but it'll probably be... I had this old idea for like a Transformers series I wanted to make because I really wanted to animate like robots. But no. Probably not. Probably not that anymore. I'm not as interested in that anymore. What do you do outside of animating for series like Bone Chronicles and Confinement? I don't know, but I've been trying to get into health. Been trying to get into some better eating, improving my mental health, meditation. I've been listening to some podcasts in order to help me focus at the same time. Trying to cook for myself more. I've been trying to, trying to socialize more. I've been trying to improve myself. And I know that's going to take a very fucking long time. So it's a great time spender, I guess, Oh, man. I just realized it's a never-ending cycle, just like how Connor's mother just left him, so she's a horrible parent, so it was expected of Connor to also be horrible. Does he break it? Well, I can't answer that last bit. You're gonna have to watch and see. Yeah, I mean, there is context. There is probably going to be more context that you will learn about Connor and his past and why he is the way he is, why he feels the way he feels. But I really enjoy the idea of him, his ability to die and always come back is a great kind of, it takes away any consequence for any of his actions, which is why he isn't scared all the time. He's just numbed out. He's just dull. He's just unhappy. He's just slightly annoyed with everything. But yeah, it's a fun concept that I like to mess around with, and I really want to get into it psychologically. Will you add my milk to this episode of Confinement? Ryan Milk. Sorry, we're not doing milk sponsorships. It's a long time till episode 8 even, but are you going to do an episode in SCP-001, The Gate Guardian? It is a fun concept. I really do like it. I'm not so great at animating fire, though, but that would be a good challenge. I have been thinking of doing, like, really short animations, where I do just kind of focus on a singular SCP for a little bit, because then I'd be able to upload more frequently, and it'll just be all these short animations. But I'll have to think about that. What ideas for other series like Bunk Chronicles have you had? I had this idea about these. I did have this idea actually of doing some kind of version of Journey to the West, which is that old Chinese story. But I think that'll be a very niche audience. I think I'll get from that. And at the same time, I think Lego has just come out with an animated series that basically is that. So, you know, I don't know. It becomes not as fun. And that's probably also the same reason why I don't want to do the Transformers thing anymore, because Rooster Teeth actually came out with this Transformers series on Netflix. If any of you have seen that. It's not bad. But it does make me want to not do it. You know. $5 from Zach Ulysses. If 051 is cutting budgets, is there going to be an even ever final episode moment before a certain SCP is turned back on? A series of SCPs. I don't really understand the question, sorry. Have you seen the Tats Tops SCP interview videos? They're really well done. Don't think I have. I should check that out though. What is your personal favorite SCP? It's probably going to be I think it has to be the Mesozoic Reserve. If you look that one up, that one's a lot of fun to read. How long does it take to make a single frame on average? It depends on the frame, because a lot of the frames are just mundane stuff. Like, I just move around the puppets, and then I edit the puppets so that they fit on the arm, and then I save the image. And it's usually a separate layer from the background layer, or if there's a foreground layer, it's separate from that as well. But sometimes I have to draw out the whole frame, and that could take way longer. So, you know, it really depends. What do you think about the letter B? It's alright. We'll kind of cut a deal and lose his ability to respawn. I'm not sure why y'all think I'm going to answer those kinds of questions. Sun Wukong is B. He is. Sun Wukong is B. He means if the budget is cut short, will SCPs be taking over? No, definitely not. I mean, maybe. But the idea is that they are just transferring the budget from a humanitarian thing to an authoritarian thing, which is shitty. Is a really shitty thing to do. I mean, the whole thing, the whole facility, in my eyes, the reason I wanted to do that little segment in the trailer is that, in my eyes, it's basically a private prison. Because it is. It is a private prison. And granted, a lot of the things that they hold are creatures, just weird, strange creatures and objects. But a lot of them are just people at the same time with psychology, you know, with human brains or with sentient brains who are stuck in this prison. So, in my mind, that can become very easily corrupt, you know. And I wanted to have fun with that. In that sort of cynical political humor, but yeah, not too much. Well, one wonders why they even have an ethics community. Yeah. I'm sure the actual SCP wiki canon, that I know that from a lot of the articles I've read that there is quite a bit of ethics that actually do go on, like strict ethics that happen in the facility. But realistically, if the facility was real, you know, fuck, they're not doing. There's not ethical. Have you watched Astat's series? No, sorry, I haven't seen that. I'm interested in how you concept your animations. Do you write it and make storyboards? I'd be interested in seeing those. Yeah, I have been doing. There's definitely a storyboard for this trailer. I did a storyboard for the last episode. I think for half of the last episode actually, because that's when I hired Forlorn Creature to help me animate. But yeah, there are storyboards. I write it down. Right now with this episode, I'm gonna kind of need to go back and do some things because there's been a lot of change that happened in the creation of this episode that I need to address and reshape. Yeah. The SCP University Ethics Committee has more power than the O5 Council. Yeah, that's what I heard too. But that's not as fun as the reality of this sort of gross world that I've created, you know. Do you watch Tales from the Foundation stories? If not, you should check them out as fellow SCP show creator. Yeah, I absolutely do. They're fucking amazing. Thank you, I'm a simp kid, but no, Netflix has not approached me. Hey Bung, I'm starting to become a blacksmith. How would you feel if I made you the sword SCP from one of your episodes? Well, that would be fucking incredible. I would be blown away. If you did that, absolutely just send it to me on Twitter. I would lose my mind. How are you making such good content yet only have 940,000 subscribers? I think I have too many subscribers. I don't know. Maybe that's cynical of me, but I just... if Connor dies and respawns, is it the same Connor or a clone with his memories? That question has been on my mind. Right, so like, is it like a prestige situation? I think ultimately it doesn't exactly matter because that depends on who. Because you could say that depends on what you define as you. So, if Connor had a soul and his soul transferred from one corpse to the new body that gets regenerated, then I guess you could make a theological argument that that's him. Or you could just say that those are his memories, and those memories are what makes him. Yeah, I guess that is a big question. It really gets there. But don't worry, I will actually be exploring a lot of identity stuff in this series. So don't you worry about that. It might answer. It might be answered there. Hey Bong, do you watch JoJo? No, sorry. Did you work on Super Science Friends or something like that because they have a pretty similar art style to you? More aliens. Plus, thanks, Pog. I should get more aliens in here. No, I didn't work on Super Science Friends. Although I was a voice in one of their spin-off series. So that was pretty cool. I was really excited to be part of that. I'm just going to look for another alien to put in. Okay, well, I can't find an alien, so I'm just going to put in this this fucking Garfield comic. Yes, dude. We're in space looking at Garfield comics. Well, thank you, Chill Block, for the $2. Hey, again, just an idea. Connor meets Dr. Bright. Yeah, I've had that suggested to me. I'm not sure I should. I'm not sure if I've. I still don't know how to do it. You know, so I'm not really interested until I figure out a way to make it interesting, because people have such Dr. Bright seems to have such a fan base that I feel like no matter what I do, people will just not be happy. And until I get into Dr. Bright, then I'm not really sure how I'll do it. He made Connor die once, and one of his friends takes over his body, so my theory is that a clone with the same memory but the old soul. It's a clone with the same memory but the old soul. Yeah, I mean, if souls in this universe exist. And I'm sure it's to like some strange degree. Oh, why did it pause? I'm sure to some technical degree there will be a soul, just a general amalgamation of consciousness and personality. Do you have a list or a general idea of the SCPs you want to feature in the future? Yeah, I have a general idea, and I'm interested. I'm interested in it. Don't worry, Irish Eyes. Your questions, if I see them, are always valid, unless they're not. Have $5, man. Your animations are of tremendous quality, and I'm excited for the new one coming up. Cheers. Thank you, Coda Fox Gaming. Appreciate that. Favorite pizza topping? Well, I guess it can't be meat lovers anymore because I'm just trying to eat better. Is there even healthy pizza? I mean, there is, but I can only think of Domino's pizza. I don't think any of theirs is healthy. Do you use a drawing tablet? If so, what would you say is a good start? I do. But mine was just a gift from a friend. It was it's a Wacom Intuos Pro. But I've had it for like years now, and it's kind of falling apart. But it's still working, so I'm just using that. So don't follow me. Don't follow my rules. I'm literally just using things until they fall apart. You know. Thank you for the $10, Dominic Wilson. Love your animations. Watch it back since your rant videos, and while I miss them, I love Confinement just as much. Thank you. I don't really miss my old videos too much, but I appreciate my old videos. But I was just such a angry boy at the time. Leroy C, thanks for the €5. Connor meets some day SCP-076 Able. I don't know what you mean by someday, but I'm trying to remember which SCP is Able. Is he the one with the robot arms, or is he the one where everything catches fire around him? Who are you? Why am I recommended? I have no idea, but look at this Garfield comic, man. It's fucking insane. What kind of dies of old age? Does he truly die, or does he just respawns again? I'm not sure I can answer that without it being some kind of spoiler. Damn you, Garfield. Greetings from Germany, you absolute legend. Oh well, guten Tag, or guten Morgen, I guess. I don't know what time it is in Germany right now. Able is the edgelord with the swords. I still don't know what that one is. I've drawn the SCPs of Cain and Abel, though. I haven't watched your old stuff in a while, but I didn't remember it coming across as angry. Oh, trust me. It was kind of... I was trying to seem cool, but in reality, I was justifying a lot of anger that I had. I was trying to seem really calm and cool about it, though. That was a lot of my issues, is that it was just a lot of prejudice, really. It wasn't for some... I mean, maybe I try to make it out of some kind of love for knowledge or something, but... that was just... I mean, it was part of my journey, growing up, I guess. Thank you for the $2, Lanthari. Could Connor meet Dr. Miller, the Volgan? I have the Volgan voicing in a lot of my videos, but I had never heard of that particular character. Collab with the Volgan. He's in, like, most of my episodes at this point. Don't worry. Come to Brazil. Oh. I don't know. I hear your president isn't great right now. Able is the guy that respawns and kills people. Okay. Put some more Garfield comics on screen. That's chill block. Thanks for the $2. I'll get some more Garfield comics up there. Yeah, let's see. Let's find some Garfield comics. I hope you all can't see the reflection in my glasses. It's just me getting the same fucking... Yes. Alright. Let's get up here. Shit, where did I save it? Oh, come on, where the fuck is Garfield? Oh no, come on, Garfield. It's right there, I could see him. Okay, I didn't save it, right? It's not an image file or anything. 1 second, fellas. Oh, thanks for the $5, Deadbeat. How's your ASS? My ass is doing just fine. Oh my god. Alright. Hold on, I'm getting the Garfield comic. Don't freak out. There we go. It's just another... It's just a fucking another one. Get over here. Oh shit. Space is falling apart. Because of this fucking Garfield comic. Hold on, chat. I'll look at it in a second. I've been watching your videos since you're at 100k. So crazy to see how close you are to 1 million. Thank you for everything you do with the SCP community. Also, have you seen the Garfield Joke SCP? Thank you, Isaiah Haas, for the $20. The Garfield Joke SCP. I'm thinking of like the creepy, like mutated Garfield things, but I'm not sure about the Garfield Joke SCP. Thanks for the $10, Evil Boy. Dude, do you watch Super Science Friends? Fuck yeah, I love them. Love that show so much. Definitely huge inspiration early on. The invasion of the Garfield comics. The exact same, like, final frame. Could you tell us roughly when and where The Boy in the Pitch Black Room is set? It is roughly in the Germanic Central Europe area and roughly in Antigua. Not Antigua, I mean like in the antique era, like the Roman era. They're not Romans though, but it was around the time of the Roman Empire. That's all I'm going to say, just because it doesn't really tell you much, to be honest. Is Ivor Erasmus going to make any more music for you? Yeah, I mean, hopefully. They're incredibly talented. I want them to do a cover of the song from the 80s that I want to use in episode 9. Drop Bear's officially an SCP now. Asked Spectrometon. I think, yeah, $2. Drop Bears have always been an SCP. Ugh. Oh, Zhao done. 128. $5. Halo Bung, did you ever read the 3 Portland's Tales of Listening to the Exploring series? Exploration of it? Imagine getting duped by the UIU. I haven't. I'm sorry, I haven't read that one. I keep disappointing everyone today. Says the face of the legendary Lord Bung. Yeah, that's my face. It's alright, I think. I'm watching this right before I start school. I would love if you linked your Discord and wouldn't mind helping to moderate it for you at all. I'll think about it. It got a little bit crazy last time. 99 cents from Jack O'Brien. Thank you for that shiny peach emote. Shell block $2. Add more Garfield comics. I might add one more. Bun, good to see you again. Do you know if I already answered that question. Have you gotten a strike before? Not a strike, just those little ones that take away your ads. But I don't think I've gotten a strike before. If I have, I don't remember. Is episode 8 going to have some Corona in it? Whether I like it or not, there's probably going to be some kind of reference to some kind of politics that is involved around Corona, even if I'm not intending to. A lot of people are going to see it that way because confinement is set in a strict authoritarian private prison. So of course there are going to be parallels, even if I don't mean for it to. Thanks for the 99 cents, Isaiah Haas. How does a salesman meet Connor? I can't answer that question. What are you going to do for Million Special? I don't have an idea yet. Hello, how are you, Ludbug? I am doing alright. I'm a bit sleepy. I keep leaning forward to read chat. It's such a bad habit. It's just not great for my back. Will you ever work with the UK commentary people again? Asked Carrot, £2. If they want to do some voices, yeah, probably. Yeah. I guess it would depend if they have good voice acting ability, you know. That's something that's become a bit more important to me doing Confinement instead of Bunk Chronicles. With Bunk Chronicle, it was just like, I invite anyone on because the acting wasn't really important to any story in Bunk Chronicles. But now the acting is important, so I do take it more seriously. What is this slow mode? Shaking my head. Yep, it's slow mode because you all were going crazy earlier, and I couldn't put up with it. I was about to smoke some drugs just to cope. Good to see Slinky making the music. Yeah, he's fucking incredible. If you made a scale of how good something is, and Garfield was in that scale from 1 to 10, where would he be? I like the structuring of that question. He'd probably be a 9. I only say 9 because this old version of him I much prefer to the Garfield that we all know nowadays. I miss this this significantly more obese cat with his jowls and his little eyes. Thanks, now I got videos about Garfield recommended. How did that happen? This video doesn't have Garfield in the title or in the tags. How does this happen? Can you put anomalies on Spotify? Oh, I should do that, yeah. Probably should do that. Hey, we missed you. Can you read this, please? Okay, here's a question. How did Connor get his immortality? Oh, well, I'm not going to tell you that. I'm sorry. That is a spoiler. No, yeah. Old version of Garfield looks like a boomer. Yeah, that's why it works so well. You know? How long will episode 8 approximately be? I don't know. Probably more than 20 minutes, but probably not more than 30 minutes. Ideally, that'll probably be that's what I'm aiming for, at least. It's pretty big, actually. It's actually a pretty big aim. What if SCP Foundation is real? Could it be the end of the world or something else? I won't be mad surprised if something like the SCP facility was real, even if it wasn't as colorful as the especially if it wasn't as colorful as the facility that we see in the wiki. If it was just a facility that was hiding one thing that was kind of mind-blowing, like interdimensional travel or something like that, that would be a lot of fun. But I don't think it'll change the world, because if it's already real, then what's stopping them from continuing to hide it? You know what I mean? Pretty new to the voice acting scene. Would you like to hire an unpaid voice actor? I can do dramatic, deep voices and crazy Joker voices too. If you could tweet at me on Twitter with a demo reel of the voices you can do. And it would also help if you had a good, clear microphone. You know, I get people who... Oh, thanks for the 10 pounds, Max Boodle. Is the salesman going to sell Connor Garfield comics? Bro. That would cost a lot. Actually, no, all the Garfield comics are online for free. They're so good. Are classic Garfield comics on paper worth a lot? I like to think that they are. Oh. No, Garfield smoking. Sorry, I'm just trying to, I'm trying to miss questions that I've already answered, or just questions that are just not sincere. Why the name Connor? Why not Greg? Greg. No, I don't want Greg. Well, thanks for saying Greg, because now I just feel way more appreciative of the fact that I didn't name him Greg. I'm sorry to anybody in the chat whose name is Greg. I don't trust anybody whose name rhymes with leg. Imagine Hope from IKEA gang getting a MTF job. Yeah. Yeah. Who knows? You might see something. Since you've been working on the series for over 3 years, you must have changed creatively. If you could retroactively change one thing about past episodes, what would it be? Oh shit, so much. Literally so much. I have no idea where to begin. But they're up now and I can't really do anything about them. So I accept them. You know, I accept the way that they are. And just hope that... just hope that I don't deviate too much, that it's distracting. Like, this next episode is going to have a different art style. I'm going to be drawing the lines with my tablet instead of using all of the characters, I mean, not just the new ones. Thanks for the $10, Landon Magdaleno Mag. Love the work you do. I'm always hyped to see a new episode, like the song from the Singapore. Our Dream Sweet C Major sounds like if it was made for the series. Have you heard it? If not, it's fire. Dream Sweet and C Major. I don't think I've heard that one. I'll definitely look it up. But thank you for the $10. Dream Sweet and C Major. Alright, well that sounds dope. Thanks for the $5, Carl Shackelford. Do you still get time to play video games? If you like games with SCP vibes but got nothing to do with it, I recommend Darkwood. Oh, Darkwood. Hold on, let me... I think I've... Oh, yeah, no, I used to watch my friend play that on stream. No, it's a really fucking cool concept, just the top-down kind of horror thing. I always love those games. Why do I have black nails? I also have white nails. Yeah, got both. It's just something I do like every Sunday. I just change my nail colors. It's a great test in patience and stillness, and keeps my hands steady. I don't know. It's just fun. It also just adds to the aesthetic that I like to give. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's a win-win. You know. I mean, sometimes I get looks from like old people where they're just like, you know, why does this man have painted nails? What the fuck? It's a lot of fun. I mean, old people are funny. Old people are peculiar. Quick stream. Yeah, it is going to be a quick stream. I'm only going to be here for another 24 minutes or so. Put Garfield in an episode, no balls. I probably will if I just remember. Garfield nails. I wish I had like orange. I don't have any orange nail paint. What are your hobbies other than drawing? Well, I'm trying to learn how to make music right now, so that's gonna be fun. Other than that, it's like other forms of art that aren't drawing, you know. So I do a little bit of arts and crafts at my friend's place. Why does your ship look like a Pepsi can? There is a backstory to that. £2 from Jay Panissa. Any advice for aspiring scriptwriters? Example dialogue. Thank you for the £2. Just 1 second. 5 CHF. I don't know what currency that is. Love the series, and I hope you take all the time you need. Don't feel like you need a rush to keep up the good work. Thank you. Jay. Okay. It's very important when writing dialogue and script to have the intention set, like the story set, long before you even think about making the jokes or whatever. So you take... Every scene has to have a purpose. Every line has to have a purpose, even if it's a little purpose. A lot of people just really like to riff and think that their comedy or their personality will carry a story. And if you want to write a story, that might not work out so well. But if you're just trying to make it like you're just riffing out of the blue, out of nowhere, and people enjoy that, that's one thing. But you're asking for script work, so I'm assuming you're writing a story. I guess there are a lot of things that come into play. Maybe a more specific question would work, but yeah. Stanley's backstory, like the hot IKEA guy. The hot IKEA guy. His backstory, I suppose, in his previous life outside of the IKEA, he must have been in a pretty sad and not a great place. Maybe he's been made to feel small, and he's taking it out in the IKEA. It's kind of like those guys who those guys in high school who are like, man, I wish there was a zombie apocalypse so I could fucking kill some zombies, you know. It's just like these borderline psychopaths. You know. That's the kind of character I wanted him to be, as a archetypal hero, but in the saddest way, you know. Like he is an archetypal hero, and in the world that he lives in, he would kill someone like Connor for being strange, for being a threat and strange, even though other people don't see it. That he's a threat, you know. But in reality, with those classic archetypal heroes, you need a human being to be a non-human in order for your psychopathic, violent hero type to work. So, yeah. It's a reflection of Connor's unhealthy view of himself alongside Stanley's unhealthy view of the outside world, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's so deep. Thanks for the $5 at Chill Block. Another idea Connor plays SCP Laboratory. I'd love to see him chant D-Boys. Just like a really meta in the universe of confinement. SCP Secret Laboratory exists. Did Stanley come from Brazil? Nah, he's I don't know. I assume the Midwest. Something like that. 699 views. Nice. I'm glad people didn't mind the 69 joke. I was very hesitant about it, but I wanted to use it in a way where it's like, of course, we're all sick of the 69 joke, especially the one person who's actually standing up for himself in the council. I've been enjoying Series 6 of the SCP Wiki so far. I read that as fart, I'm sorry. The new SCP classification system is great, but all the stories are like SCP-5000 literal novels. I need to get back into reading the SCP Wiki. I've been slacking on that, admittedly. I'm gonna bookmark the shit out of it. SCP Foundation. Get the fuck back up on my main bookmarks. Yes, there we go. Need to be more aliens in the stream. Yeah, maybe. 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 Do you think you will add the Plague Doctor in the future? He's literally right here. He's in the trailer. He's gonna be in the episode, don't worry. Why is 049 so much different in the trailer? I like the design, but why? Sorry if you've answered this already. Yeah, this is one of the things that one of the things that the SCP fans get on my case about. Not you, but like other SCP fans. Like, why did you change it? Why does it need to be the same? You know? Otherwise, it's just a reference. I don't want to make my show like Family Guy, where it's just the humor or the story comes from the fact that there is a reference. So that's not a. That's just sort of a waste of creativity, you know. Does the cult from the boy in the pitch black room have a name? I don't think I gave them a name. But also I didn't really want to I don't think you would have called them a cult at the time as well, because they definitely live in ancient Germany. And if there was a group of devoted people who were idolizing a living human being, I think that would have just been a little society or something, you know? We would call it a cult now, but I don't know. What's it like to get on trending whenever you post a video? I don't think I get on trending every time I post a video. It's pretty cool. I don't really know what it means. But yeah. A really quick religion. Yeah, cults, basically. But no, cults are interesting because it just means culture, essentially. That's where the word cult comes from. Like like there are a lot of bad cults, definitely, ones that require kind of violence. That's those are the bad cults. But you could just compare that to a society, like a society with a whole lot of violence that is endorsed into what you might say is a bad society or a bad culture. It's the same thing with cults. I'm sure there are cool cults. I'm sure there are really fun, sexy cults where they're just vibing out, just having fun, you know. I've never heard of you. Why is this recommended? I don't know. I don't know why you clicked on it and then typed in the chat. But now that you have, we are brothers. We are friends forever. You're gonna have to come to my house now and sit in my lap. Unless you're a kid, then stay the fuck away from me. PP Man strikes back. Who is the PP Man? Get the PP Man out of here, man. It's okay, you can say America. Is America a cult? I think there are too many people who disagree with each other in America for it to be a cult. I like the cool cults that just dance and vibe. Yeah. My personal favorite SCP is a teenage Cthulhu who doesn't want to be worshipped because he's too young and finds his followers rituals gross and annoying. Yeah. Yeah, it's good fun. You support Black Lives Matter, NBs, and painting your nails? Epic as fuck. Damn right, I am epic as fuck for those reasons. He has good content, that's why he's recommended. Thank you, PC Souls. Thank you for the €2. Oscar Aguado? Aguado. Internet cults are just not the same as meat space cults. I like meat space. That's a great phrase. Never say fun, sexy cults ever again. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. Is this a cult meeting? I guess it might be. If you were to define a cult as a secure space or a closed off space, a closed system, that's the phrase, as a closed system, then I suppose a Discord would probably be a cult. Like somebody's Discord, I mean, could be a cult. If you're just stuck in there and all the rules are limited to what the Discord rulers in that particular Discord do with it, you know what I mean? We worship Lord Bung here, don't ask questions. Questions are bad. No, ask all the questions. Everybody, ask some big questions. Some cool personal questions. I feel like talking. I wake up to Lord Bung streaming and now I am happy for the day. Well, that's very sweet. Hi, big fan of you and your videos. Happy you're back. Is it okay? Greetings from Austria. Oh, well, thank you, Dankeschön for the €5, Tobias. Hey, Bung, are you left or right-handed? I'm actually right-handed, but painting my right hand nails with my left hand is a good practice, so gonna get that ambidextrous. Maybe, probably not, though. Is Australia Florida, though? Bung, how do you cope with loneliness? Oh, man. I don't know if I... Loneliness really, really fucking sucks. But... Okay, so, sorry, you're trying to cope with loneliness. I was trying to think of ways to make friends, but... How do you cope with loneliness? Well, there are lots of ways to distract yourself. There are totally a lot of ways to reach out at your own pace. Like, in school, it was really hard for me to make friends, but on the internet, it was a lot easier. And then from there, it just became a slow confidence build up into meeting real-life people. And the internet can make it like a real trap. You can just end up getting stuck with only having friends on the internet, and sometimes that's the best we can do, and we shouldn't feel like shit for that, you know, especially nowadays when we're all trapped inside our houses, you know. So it's okay to be alone. It sucks to feel lonely. Hey, Zlinky. It does suck to feel lonely, so I totally empathize with that. But you shouldn't feel like you're a failure because you're alone, you know what I mean? Have a Garfield comic in Connor's cell. Yeah, thanks for the $2 Chol Block, and fuck yeah, I should totally do that. So, shitty Garfield comic, like the worst one. Have you considered doing a voice chat while streaming? Yeah, if somebody who's a mutual with me is listening to the stream, message me on Discord. Maybe we'll talk. Maybe. Is Connor packing Schmeat? Yeah, he is. You know Connor's hung. I watched your videos as I had COVID. Thank you a lot. It felt better and I'm good now. And again, I ask you about Dr. Bright. Oh man, that's crazy. Oh, I appreciate that you were watching my videos while you had a huge pipe down your throat. I'm sorry to hear that. Garfield has a huge pipe over there. What were you saying? Something about Dr. Bright? Yeah, I'm not gonna have Dr. Bright, I'm sorry. Until I fall in love with Dr. Bright, then maybe I'll add him in. Just want to tell you that I love the work you do with the SP Confinement series, and I can't wait for your next episode. I also hope that you're doing fine, and I wish you the best. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Would you kill Scrappy Doo? Asks Scooby Doo out of context. How would you feel if anyone made an SCP Confinement fan character? I would be honored, but would it be a SCP Confinement fan character, or would it be an SCP fan character? It's kind of hard to... I don't know what about my series, aside from maybe the style that the fan art would represent. Which episode was the most fun to make? Oh, that's a tough one. Just whatever the last one is, because I'm always trying something new, and by the time I finish an episode, I'm kind of... I've changed so much since the episode before that. So I'm just like, wow, I found that funny. Wow, I could have animated that better, you know, like all of these criticisms start flooding in. Are most of your characters based on real SCPs? Most of my SCP characters, yeah. They're either based on an SCP entirely, or they're inspired loosely off of an SCP because I liked a certain idea from it. What's the process for finding the music you use? Well, luckily enough, a lot of artists come to me and they tell me like, hey, we really would love it if you had our music in the show, and if it happens to be the right kind of there's a certain kind of aesthetic that's like that's trying to let you know that this is gonna be a thing about mental health. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm surprised there's no cameo from the Cryptobiology boys. Alfred is my favorite. Yeah, there actually was meant to be. Things got a bit confusing and difficult. It's hard to say. $5 from James Henry. You have the best taste in music, at least in confinement videos. Thank you, James. For the $5. Thank you, Tobias, for the €5. You're basically the one who brought me the SCP series, so thank you very much. You're best. You're the best. Thank you. Appreciate that. Watching new confinement episodes when they come out is like reaching a campfire in Dark Souls to me. Thank you for making this funny as hell series. I appreciate that. I'm sorry if I'm missing some of your questions. It's there are a lot, even though slow chat is on. If I just sat here and read every single question, the silence would be deafening, you know. I love how you use Mr. Fish as a doctor. Ever thought about making any other little Mr. a staff member? Yeah, definitely. I would definitely be interested in trying that. I'm thinking, 'cause there are quite a few funny, like, little misters. I'm pretty sure there's one that's just like an orb, like a glowing orb. So I'd probably put like a lab coat on one of them. Did you play any Monster Hunter? I had Monster Hunter. I think I still have Monster Hunter, but I had a fun time on it. But there's just a lot of grinding in Japanese games that I'm a real fucking baby when it comes to games. I just want to... Like, I'm the kind of person who would just go on No Man's Sky just so I can pretend that I'm in a ship flying through space, landing on pretty little planets and meeting weird creatures without any build-up, you know, without any challenges. Fuck. Is that 049 in the trailer? Hell yeah, it is. Why haven't Connor be used to learn about Super Deadly SCP? Well, you don't know that he hasn't. There's been quite a few in the series that I would say are pretty deadly. But you mean like deadly for an SCP, like one of those like Olympus class gods, essentially? I'm sure he has been. But usually those kinds of SCPs are in really, really big facilities, like their own facilities, you know, like because it's hard to move essentially gods, you know. How's it going, Bong? The trailer looks sick. Thank you, Fallen Foundry. Yeah, it's going quite good actually. It's been vibing out. What song is used in the episode 8 trailer? It should be in the description of the trailer, but it's 6 Feet by Zelinki. It's fucking incredible. He actually made it ages ago, and I've just had it on my computer for the longest time while shit was hitting the fan and life was getting really difficult. But it was like a huge motivator to just keep going. Simp. Yeah, I'm simping. I'm simping for everybody who helps confinement. They're the real heroes. Oh man. I should have. No, I don't want to move my laptop. I'm just gonna end up pulling out the mic plug and everything's gonna go to hell. That now your motivation? Well, no. I mean, I have healthier motivations now than just attaching myself to one very specific material thing. But yeah, my motivation now is that I am reminding myself that I love what I do. And I'm not thinking about the end product so much as I am thinking about the process that I'm in. Because when I think about the end product while I'm working, it stresses me the fuck out. And it just fills me with judgment. Thanks for the $5. Mike the Anon. Will Bond Chronicles return? Probably not. I'm sorry. What SCP is a machine spider thingy in episode 2? That should also be in the description. But it is a very much changed from what the SCP is based on. To be honest, I'm really confused about what's going to happen to Dr. Powers. Good. Creative thought. Incredible. How can I support confinement in the best way? Well, you can watch it, I guess. I do have a Patreon, though. I forgot to put it in the description of this stream because, again, I was using YouTube's new streaming service thingy. But I can do that next time. That's how I'm learning. Connor or Connor? I've honestly seen people use both. What is it actually? It's Connor with the O. Connor, like the original Scottish spelling. I do all your stuff, man. Stay groovy. Thank you, Scooby-Doo, out of context. Is Australia an SCP? Yeah, it is. At least according to the Flat Earthers. It's been 1 year. What happened? I don't think it's been 1 year since I uploaded an episode. Has it? It's probably been a year since I uploaded like a full episode, though. Let me just double check. It's been 10 months, yeah. But then there was the Christmas episode, and then the Indestructible Lizard April Fool's thing, and then the trailer. Yeah, so as you can see, something happened there. I'm not going to go into detail about what happened because it's boring, but also it's personal. Yeah, it's a bit rough. But I'm glad people have been very supportive. My patrons have been, at least. They're the best. How did Connor get in the notes from the under? Like in the music video with all the SCP Connor is in notes from the under. And I'm wondering how. Notes from the under. I have no idea what you're talking about, sorry. Is this gonna be a big ep? Yeah, hopefully. It's gonna be a nice big one. It's gonna be a big, fat, long ep. Big, whopping, smelly. It's gonna be good, I hope. Fuck, man. Why should we buy from an Amazon instead of any other major companies? Because the warlord from Jupiter, Jeff Bezos, says so. And he can deliver it to you using a drone made from your DNA. And you will birth out your packages through your own brand new vaginas. What happened to the Lord Bung series? I kind of planned it really poorly and then burnt myself out on it. Hi, I love your content. Will I ever see Gilbert in a future episode? Thank you, and you'll have to wait and see. Lord Bung OnlyFans when. I'm not sure how many people would be really interested. I'm a big boy. Like I'm a big chubby boy. Do you have other story universes other than SCP that you would like to create for? Oh, yeah. I did have an idea for like Transformers. I did have an idea of doing a Journey to the West thing. There was a kind of idea I had where I wanted to redo Bung Chronicles, like a reboot, where it would be sort of based on my current views rather than the views that I had when I made the first Bung Chronicles episodes, which aren't too different, but there is more of a political focus, and I would have a lot of fun with that. Like the bad guys would be billionaires. It would be Jeff Bezos. It would be Elon Musk. It would be contemporary villain archetypes that I wanted to have. Where it wouldn't just be based. It wouldn't be like South Park where it's like based on like things that are happening right now. It'd just be more like they fill this crazy little cartoony villain, like Batman style villain, you know. Wow, thank you for the $100, Sybil. $100 to not start an OnlyFans. Thank you. That's probably, I would make more from you telling me to not start an OnlyFans than I would having an OnlyFans. What do you think about the conspiracy that Australia doesn't exist and we're all paid actors? Yeah, I love it particularly. I love flat earthers. Because they're harmless. They're one of the very harmless conspiracy theorists. But also the mental gymnastics of a conspiracy theorist is a lot of fun as well. Sorry. Oh, the music paused. It just keeps pausing. Is it like Netflix now where YouTube just pauses it? Elon Musk has the Penguin coming to a theater near you. Yeah, basically. But it'll be more like a regular show kind of silliness where they just have an obscene amount of power. You know, like Elon Musk. I had this design for him where all of his Iron Man tech would be in the same aesthetic as the Cybertruck, you know, that really shitty kind of boxy aesthetic. And he would think he was so cool about it. Which country do you live in, Lord Bung? I live in Australia. I'm Australian. What is your favorite movie? What has it been lately? I guess my most recent favorite movie that I've seen, maybe Uncut Gems. I feel like I shouldn't. I feel like it isn't though. I feel like I have one. I feel like I have a better one. I mean, Uncut Gems is incredible, but still. Let me just check my movie purchases. No, I've been watching more series lately, so Euphoria is a really fucking good series if you want to watch a show. I mean, it has a lot of drug and sex stuff, but it's like a painfully accurate depiction of drug addiction in high school. But it's not a high school drama. It's this beautiful character drama. What else? Episode 8, more like Lord Bung is a mate. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that, mate. Love your work, Lord Bung, and I hope you are not pushing yourself to upload earlier and try and take your time, mate. Thank you. Yeah, I do have like this general guilt because of the amount of time that I was unable to do work during those, during those 10-ish months. I was doing work, but then things kept on crashing, and I have to go back and fix them. So it's not like I was doing no work for 10 months. It was more like I was doing work, and we were really unhappy about it, and kept tearing it up. The Boys Season 2 is coming out soon. Big hype. Fuck yes. Yes. Yeah, The Boys is really good. I definitely recommend that. I definitely recommend The Midnight Gospel. It's on Netflix. Ugh. What percentage of Lord Bung's subscribers are in Australia? I'm not actually sure. I think it's actually like a pretty big amount, but most of them are American still. Will Connor ever be free from the Foundation? I'm so curious for a Cinnamon World Boy. Oh, I can't tell you that. That would be a spoiler. As an Australian, I can confirm I'm a paid government actor. Yeah. The Boys is pretty damn solid. Damn right, Eli. Oh, good golly, my back. What is The Boys about? I've seen Midnight Gospel, but everyone is hyped more about The Boys. Oh, man. Well, The Boys is kind of like this... it would be what would it really be like if superheroes were a thing in reality. So, of course, in the series, there's a corporation called Vought that legally owns the rights to every single superhero in America. And it is strictly in America. And each one, they walk around like celebrities where they get away with so much bullshit because they're seen as heroes. But there's a kind of behind the scenes and all the corruption going on. It's really good. It's really fucking good. It's basically is making fun of the superhero genre in a way. It's more of a critique about it. Just how excessively fake it is. Just how much they would get away with things if they were real, you know? Remember, there are a lot of worse organizations out there. The GOC would either try to kill him or try to make him into a slave. Yeah, that's definitely something I wanted to introduce in season 2 is the GOC. I wanted them to be like a bigger, badder version of the of the SCP Foundation. But yeah, that's in there. That's in there as a possibility. Not for a long time though, unfortunately. Do you believe in the multiverse? In a way, you know, in a way where it's not gonna be something really awesome and cool and fun that we get to enjoy, but rather in a way where it's more like when you are self-aware and when you make decisions for yourself that are very difficult and outside of your automatic response, then you go into the dimension where you have better self-control, or you're better in some way, or you're worse in some way, or whatever. Which I think, you know, isn't literal, but it makes the idea of changing more fun to me, you know? Just making like a really big decision in your life that you know you're scared the shit of, but you do it anyway. Then you've entered that dimension. You've transferred into the dimension where you are that person, where now your momentum follows that decision, you know? If you're really paying attention. Because if you're just doing things without paying any attention at all, or really acknowledging anything that's going around you, or you're boxed up in this tunnel vision, you're in total denial about everything going on around you, then you are just going to repeat the same shit over and over again. Do the salesman always speaks in rhymes? No, but it wouldn't be a totally original thing if I made them do that as well. $5 from Better, Faster, Cheaper. Are you familiar with Worm by Wilbur? Very interesting story about superhumans, free online. 1.5 million words. Oh, okay. Worm by Wilbur. I'll search that up. If you guys want to get into a really good webcomic, there's one called Killing 6 Million Demons, I think it's called. Killing 6 Million Demons. It has this fantastic artwork that's been a huge inspiration for when I was doing The Boy in the Pitch Black Room. I definitely recommend it. It's funny to assume that multiple universes will be caused by human decision making. Yeah, it's kind of like when you talk to, when I hear about, theoretical physicists who love talking about how atoms are moving, basically disappearing and reappearing with the speed that they're moving. And somehow it implies that there is a multiverses happen every single nanosecond, just because of all the little things that are changing. And the universe looks stable when we look at it. Killing 6 million demons. Yeah, it's really good. The universe looks stable if you want it to be stable, if you want to look at it as stable, but really, me waving my hand like this will one day affect something on the other side of the galaxy. It'll be a really long time. But that's how connected everything is, That's how much of a fluctuation there is. Hey, Sir Cutie Yuki. He's streaming. Demons killing 6 million of me. Yeah. Would you ever create another one of video in the vein of Giant Serious? Honestly, a bloody fantastic video. Also, please take your time, man. Don't rush yourself, fellow Ozzy. I definitely would. Maybe not that serious. Maybe, it would have like a serious message, but not as. I don't think I'd make it as beautifully poetic as the way I wrote that one. I would probably animate like a conversation between two people or something like that, I think a Socratic dialogue would do a better service, even if it'll make some people upset, We talking about the universe? Damn right we are, Sir Cutie Yuki. Well, I am. I kind of want to keep talking about the universe. How old you is? You seem very talented for your age. Oh, thank you, Deputy Muffin Top. I am 25. I'm an old man. What was I thinking about? All right, the universe, yeah. So sometimes I think it is important to remind ourselves that we are the universe. You know what I mean? Like, the line that we've drawn between where we are now and the Big Bang is a completely arbitrary line that we use to organize things for the purpose of society, for the purpose of the people who want to organize things, I guess, the people who are in charge, who want to say, like, you are an individual, you should all do your individual shit. But really, we are just like the fingertips of the hand that is the universe. That could be a way better analogy could have used, but you know what I mean. Sometimes I try to remind myself that. That's a lot of fun. But also it's very unifying, and I think we get really, really caught up in the differences between people. Like, so many people just cling so hard into what makes another person different to justify why they're getting hurt, why they're getting abused, why they're getting treated the way that they are, and they're like, oh, well, it's okay because they were a drug addict, or it's okay because they have a criminal record, or you know what I'm talking about. I think we believe we are the universe, but at the same time, so little. Yeah, we are very, very little. But when I say we are the universe, it takes away any idea of, grandiosity to the individual self. It's we are the universe, as in there is no individual. I love the analogy that we are individual waves in the sea of consciousness, and when we do, we return to the sea. And when we die, we return to the sea. Yeah, that's fucking beautiful, and that's definitely how I've been looking at it lately. Have you read Berserk or Vagabond? Just Berserk. Berserk's a lot of fun. Ouch. Why can't there be a universe that's exactly like ours? There probably is. Most of the universes out there probably do look exactly like ours as far as we can tell. But, there might just be like some other universe where it'll only be different to some ladybug. Only a certain ladybug will notice, like, oh, okay, that grain of sand is different. So it would be fun. I've been doing some deep thinking. Yeah, Sir Yuki, you should definitely get in call, and we could have some deep chats. Have some deep talks. If you're up for it. Berserk's a lot of fun, not how I described it, to be honest. That's fair. That was very... I think I was trying to not think of Berserk as I was answering a question. Bruh. Yeah, Berserk's really fucked up. And definitely a lot of it is I don't know if it's excessively edgy, but it's very edgy. But it might be the exact kind of edgy people are looking for. It's just really brutal, like intensely anti-hero. Anytime, dude. Oh, no, I meant now. Like, in stream. I think I need somebody to stimulate my mind. You know what I'm saying? Just so I could think of some interesting things to say. Because right now I'm just chilling. But now I kind of want to talk about stuff like this. So when I asked the Plague Doctor and a teaser for the next episode refers to 049. Yep. Don't worry. That is definitely 049. Excesses depend on the individual perceiving. Yeah, that's true, I guess. For me, it might be... Sometimes for me, it's a little bit excess. It might just be the translation at the same time as well, where there's just, like, no nuance to the way they're saying it. Like that horse that just... the Berserk horse. You just look up to the Berserk horse. For the most part. Thank you for the 5 pounds, Lord Death. Hell yeah. We're gonna have Sir Yuki on stream, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Am I a wee bit loud? Am I good?
I don't think so. I think you're good.
Hello. You okay in your thinking time of the universe and grains of sand?
Yeah. I've been thinking about sometimes I just put on some Alan Watts while I'm falling asleep and and just kind of sink into my bed and become part of the universe a little bit. Somebody in the chat is asking, what's your opinion on philosophy of religion? Well, I think philosophy is very useful. I think philosophy of religion would just be called theology, wouldn't it? Where you're just studying religion. Personally, I was raised in a very aggressive religious household, which turned me off of religion for a very long time. Oh, sorry. Thanks for the $8, Tropic Snaky. Sup, man? Me again, lol. Here's a thought, not original because I'm no that smart, but Medieval SCP Foundation. So SCP D&D, lol. I do actually like that idea. So I was kind of introduced to very anti-religious theology because of how terrible my upbringing was, particularly around religion.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like how harsh was that on you?
It was
Not too imposing.
it was just kind of like psychological neglect, I'd say,
Hmm.
where it was kind of like these two grown adults telling their little children that they're going to hell for getting mad. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. That's
Um,
further than I thought it was gonna be.
it wasn't like, they would hit me or anything. It was more like
Right.
it was just like this is the divine punishment. If you keep acting this way, then you would logically end up in hell.
This is
And
very psychological.
yeah, so it was kind of
Right.
like uh it really set off my anxiety at a young age because it was like I would just connect something as simple as disobeying my parents to, if you keep this up, you will go to hell. And nowadays, when I get an anxiety attack, um, I'm always going to be thinking, like, the first thought in my head is going to be the extreme logical conclusion to what it is. Like, uh-oh, if I start eating this, then I am going to become insanely unhealthy and die. Or
Mm-hmm.
if somebody hurt my feelings, then you know what you should do, Danny? You should kill yourself so they feel bad. You know what I mean?
So
Like,
even little things can affect you like that highly is what used to or still now.
sorry, what was that?
So when it comes to those tiny little things, you're saying how high it affects you, right? Because of what's happened.
Yeah. It's not so bad anymore. Like I've gotten a lot better as I got older, and lately I've been trying to practice mindfulness, which helps me escape the anxiety loops that get caught in my head. Because like there's, I don't know who said this, but the thought is a good servant but a terrible master. Um, thinking is just a tool that we use. It's not a. Oh, sorry. Thanks for the €3, Alex Koskinen. So, like, when you have a thought, and then when you respond to that thought with another thought, and then repeat, that's anxiety. That's just getting stuck in your head.
Right.
And it serves nothing. It leads to nowhere. It doesn't get anything done. And all it does is just make you feel terrible. And I would believe for the longest time that there was nothing I could do about it. That if it happens, then clear my calendar. This is it. I'm gonna be stuck in there. Thank you for $5. Better, faster, cheaper. Please turn up volume of Sir Cutie Yuki. All right.
Oh, I know.
There we go.
So is this something that you basically recently learned or feel like you've recently accepted, is that kind of cycle process of thoughts isn't particularly a good thing?
I had recently come to accept that I'd recently come to accept that I actually don't have to do that. That it isn't the only way of living in life.
Right.
Because I was I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this on stream, but I was doing some stuff that resulted in a terrible, terrifying ego death. And for people who don't know what an ego death is, it's when you lose your sense of self, your sense of self-image, your self-value, and your self-identity. All of the things that you've associated with you and your story and the movie that you've created in your head starring you, that gets thrown out the window, and yet you're still alive, but everything that you are is gone, and you're just left as the observer, the floating eyes, the floating ears, the floating mouth. And I kind of, it taught me a few things. One is that, actually, I do love life because I was so afraid that I was dying. And that was one, that was something that I kind of was forced to see, because when I was having the ego death, once I reached the ego death singularity, I was just full of so much bliss. There was nothing left but bliss and happiness and love. And it was an experience that a lot of people would call like a holy experience, like a divine holy experience. And this belief that I couldn't stop a panic attack, that I couldn't be happy, sort of fizzled away because my entire construct of reality melted away. And as it turns out, when you have an ego death, it basically resets your brain in a way where you can create new habits, create new thought patterns, new personality. So I jumped on that immediately and decided to start eating healthier. I dropped caffeine. I started doing less drugs. I started doing all these stretches that I've been neglecting to do for my back. And I've been reconnecting with my family and overlooking all of the like I used to have like a if any of you have tuned into my older streams on Twitch, I would bitch about my family so often. But I realized that I can actually just not do that. You know, I can actually look at the parts of them that I love and focus on that instead and acknowledge that they aren't perfect. But, you know, back then it was just pure negativity. Are you familiar with the research being done on mushrooms treating depression? I have heard about that, and I've heard about people doing research on MDMA to cure PTSD. I'm really glad that people are opening up to using these illegal drugs and for medical purposes. It's a shame that they were illegal in the first place. But yeah, my therapist suggested mindfulness, and when she suggested it before my ego death, I thought, no fucking way. There's no goddamn way I can pay attention to even half of the thoughts in my head. And it's true, you still can't, and I still can't. But the point is to just accept that they're there, to accept that they are kind of crazy, and you're not exactly connected to them as much as you think they are. Thank you for the $2, Chill Block, and thank you for the £2, X Rose X. Keep up the work, love your videos. Thank you. So like, in Buddhism, for example, the whole thing that mindfulness kind of got from Buddhism is this idea that if you just stay still and meditate and pay attention to your thoughts and feelings, you'll begin to notice that they are moving of their own accord, and that you're not exactly in control of them. And people really don't like that idea because it's like your lungs, right? When you're breathing, when you notice you're breathing, you are voluntarily breathing. But when you don't notice you're breathing, you're still breathing. It's the same process with your mind. You are still thinking even when you're not focusing on your thoughts. So, you know, if you are drawing, or if you are watching a television show or whatever, you know, you are still thinking. Those thoughts are going on automatically. They're just not loud because you're not focusing on them. Or they get louder if you try and control them, if you try and fight them, if you try and resist them, or if you try to ignore them. They get even louder. So something I had to learn when I was on ego death is that every time I resisted a thought or a feeling, it got so much more intense. And because I was in such a fragile state of that level of ego death, it hurt. Every single thing that I tried to fight hurt me really, really bad. Thank you for the $2, Chill Block. I recommend listening to the song Overthinker. Oh shit. Yeah, right.
It would amplify to like a crazy degree. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like when you fight against your thoughts or your feelings, if you try to ignore them, they will just come back stronger. And that's sort of represented in, well, a few religions actually. Like I don't know how much of the Bible you've read, but that tale where Jesus was up on that rock mountain and the devil was trying to tempt him to do all this shit. And he was conversing with him. But also there's a tale about the Buddha where he was being met by all of these spirits that represented different kinds of desires and human states. And every time he would not succumb to them, they would become more and more aggressive. And that's the kind of the truth of psychology, you know. If you're trying to fight it, it'll come back even further. If you try to ignore it, if you try and suppress it, it'll come back harder, and you won't be able to deal with it. So the first step is to accept that it is there, to accept that it is a part of you, even if it is deplorable or embarrassing or whatever. And then notice that it'll just naturally dissipate when you accept it. And that's where I think a lot of people get confused with positive thinking. They think it just means forcing positivity, where it's just when you feel like shit. But really, it's accepting it. And looking at there's always a silver lining to every single negative thing. Sorry, hold on. Cryptic Gaming 369, thanks for the $5, my lord. We would like you to answer the question that many of us have. Will SCP-166, the naked girl, be included one day? It's YouTube, but still. I don't know that SCP, I'm sorry. An SCP that's just called the naked girl? This feels like a Midnight Gospel episode. Yeah, I've been so fucking in love with the Midnight Gospel. It's actually kind of been my Bible. In like a relatable way where the main character is just kind of terribly imperfect at trying to be enlightened, and that's most people, you know. Most people would like to be in a state of like calmness where their emotions don't wash them away, but really when you look at it in a controlling way, it's not very sustainable. Oh, have you heard of the Magnus Archives Cool Horror Podcast? I have, actually. The Magnus Archives is really fucking great. That's another podcast I'd recommend people. Yeah, have you had any experience like that, by the way?
What, like enlightenment?
Well, anything to that degree, you know, like
Nothing of that kind of degree. I mean, I understand things to do with amplifying when it comes to rejecting thoughts and it then kind of taking over you. And I like 100% agree when it comes to accepting them and kind of accepting that it's a part of you, not necessarily you, but it is a part of who you are, is definitely a step in the right direction. But I've never had something as crazy as what you described. So it sounds like you just had a point in time that completely flipped your way of thinking, and that was kind of decided by you, right?
Well, when the opportunity came and I realized it was so easy and that I could actually change, then yeah, but I managed to convince myself for many years that I had no choice in life. Which actually fits well into this question. Do you believe we have free will? I personally think we have very little will, if any. Oh, thank you for the $5 Malice. Glad you're doing better, my dude. Mental health can be such a bad time. Yeah, it can be. Free will. I mean, yeah, I think just for the sake of like semantics, yeah, we do. In a way. Another thing that I lost when I had my ego death is this need to... I had like this, and I still do a little bit, but I had this like desperate need to just sound smart, you know, to just sound like a big smart boy. And that's a part of the reason why I look back at my old Bung Chronicles and Bung Rants videos and like almost throw up, because I know for a fact that at that time I was so damn insecure about looking stupid. And, because as a guy, especially, if you have to either be like funny or insanely talented or smart, and or like super good looking, and I wasn't most of those things. So I just thought like, this community seems like they don't know the things that I know, so I am going to take advantage of that and try and be like the I'll be like the I don't know, I'm trying to think of a show where they just expose things. I'll be like the Adam ruins everything of this community or something like that, you know. And I thought that I just need to find my place in a community. And actually I was starting to break down that mindset in episode 7 of Confinement, where Connor was starting to get really sick of living in the IKEA, and even though everything was on paper, everything was great, you know. But but I was doing it out of fear, and that doesn't satisfy.
A good way to go about it, for sure. Not
Yeah,
healthy.
exactly. So now that I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to lose weight in a way where, even though there is shame, like, or embarrassment, or like a general dislike of the way that my body looks, I try not to give that side energy I try not to give that side any energy. I try to look at it as, I am losing weight because I love myself and I know I could do better. I'm losing weight because I want to have more energy. I want to live longer. I want to get to a point where I am comfortable with my body, both visually and that it isn't just making the loud noises all the time, you know, the big grumpy stomach. Yeah. When I dropped caffeine for about 2 weeks, I was so fucking dead, and that's part of the story why I'm in this little Pepsi spaceship right now. Although if I could probably redo it, I'd say I should probably have weaned off slowly because I dropped it, you know, after drinking Pepsi. Yeah,
Completely.
I Pepsi Max was like a thing that I've been drinking since I was a little kid.
Right.
And even though it doesn't have that much caffeine in it, it's it was like a regular part of my general life since I was a kid, and so dropping it, the tiredness got me, but something that got me even more was after it all settled, my vision was completely different to how I've been used to it my entire life.
Your vision.
Yeah, my vision, my maybe it's because I'm being more mindful, so I'm just noticing things more, but I don't know, it seems a little slower. Everything is slower. When I was on caffeine, when I was hyped up on, you know, super sensitive on caffeine, everything just felt like a flat screen TV. And now it's more like I'm noticing when I'm tired. I'm noticing when things are a little bit blurry. I'm noticing when things aren't focused properly, and it's like, oh, okay, because I'm not pouring jet fuel down my throat. Essentially, I have to like moderate using eating nuts, eating fruits, eating vegetables, eating meats. Yeah, it's crazy. Every time no caffeine comes up in the conversation, I go grab a coffee. Yeah, it's caffeine has just been sort of normal for most people, and that's part of the that made it a little bit hard to quit caffeine, not gonna lie, because it was like one of the most socially acceptable drugs to get addicted to. But I know caffeine stresses me the fuck out, and I don't need that. Because for the longest time, my mind would work backwards, where I would think that my feelings and thoughts make sense, that if I am stressed, it means something is objectively wrong. And then I would stress out, even though there was nothing happening. I would just add something to stress out about, whatever the nearest thing was. So, yeah. What's your opinion on alcohol? I don't really drink, I'm sorry. I drink it socially. What do you drink now? What do I drink now? Just water, I guess? Oh shit, I'm out of water. I guess I'll die. Yes, darling, promote practicing self-care and denormalizing caffeine addiction. That's definitely what I'm gonna be trying to do in confinement. Not the caffeine thing, but everything else. Opinions on veganism or vegetarianism. I'm really genuinely starting to understand the idea of it more. I don't think I'm at a place yet where I'm willing to give up meat because of just how prominent it is in my diet still to this day. But I think there has to be some kind of social desensitization that happens. And I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian, but when we know that our food comes from animals that are sort of being systematically killed, it must be normalized for us, right? Like, imagine a world where we didn't do that, and then somebody suggested it for the first time. They're like, "Hey, what if we just killed this cow and ate its flesh?" Everybody would lose their fucking minds. But because it's normalized for us, and because it's normalized for us, I don't want to defend it just because it's normal to me. You know what I mean? So, yeah, if if we're looking at it from that perspective, I would say that I totally understand why people would go vegan and vegetarian. And I don't think that judging a lifestyle because of the way some of the people talk about it aggressively, I don't think that should mean that it's not a good lifestyle, you know?
Do you think it's interesting that we're desensitized to eating things like cows, chickens, pigs, but not desensitized to certain other animals?
Yeah. Yeah, that is, it's almost like society is like a big game to teach you to ignore things, because you know, to live in a society, a lot of terrible things have to happen for some of the amazing things to keep running, and we either are in denial about it, or the things that are really difficult to deny, we just don't talk about, you know, like, because of just how normal it is. Like in America, just how many people will defend, I'm not going to go there, actually, it might piss people off. But back to the eating meat thing, you know, if I think genuinely, if every single person went to a slaughterhouse, a chunk of them would probably change their mind, and the others who don't change their mind are probably just going to keep doing it out of not peer pressure, but out of this idea that it's quite normal and convenient. And I don't know, I definitely think it sends signals to your brain saying that your comfort is more important than an animal's comfort, for example, or you know, something like that. Because you're ignoring it. It's like a thought or an emotion. You are giving it power by trying to pretend that it isn't there, or you know, something like that. Anyway, but I love meat. I love eating meat. I can't deny it. It's and maybe one day I will reach a point, because the reason a lot of Buddhists and certain Hindu groups don't like eating meat is because they believe that the emotional energy of an animal as it's being killed goes into the food, and that's why monks don't go to restaurants, for example. They prepare their own food, because they believe that the heart and soul that you put into your own food, or that somebody else puts into their food, will also go into your body. Something like that. But if you want to look at it from a psychological state, if you are a thoughtful person and you do deeply think about the intelligence of animals, and if you keep that in your mind and then you also eat meat, it's going to be a little bit hypocritical, because you are going to be thinking about that as you're eating the meat. You're going to feel like shit. And generally speaking, that would be a conflict of interest. And if you are doing that to yourself, then you're not exactly being mindful. Is soon before the end of the year. Oh, you're talking about episode 8. I really fucking hope so. Not gonna lie. I would really like to finish this episode before the end of the year. But if not, I'm definitely going to have something done. Like, I'm going to do something like... I want to do this collaboration with another animator. for something, so you guys get to see that. I don't think I'm allowed to spoil it though. Thanks for the $20, Milo Miga. Thanks for being you. Oh, I appreciate that. Cooking for yourself can be deeply rewarding. It also be incredibly stressful and messy. Yeah, it really can be. I do love cooking for myself. Do you cook for yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
On a very rare occurrence, to be honest with you. I'm more about convenience, sadly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's this world is really difficult.
It is. I gotta be honest.
Yeah. I was watching this video on oh, I can't say this, on Marxism, but they were talking about this interesting point where back in the old days, back when people lived in villages, you knew where your eggs came from or your sausages came from.
Right.
You knew where everything had a personality and a connection to another human being, and you knew your place in society. But nowadays, we just buy the eggs from a store, and
Nothing to do about it.
yeah, and suddenly you are surrounded by objects instead of, this is the eggs from Farmer Joe, this is the sausages from Butcher Steve. It's suddenly just objects around you, and that's what we're gonna say the funny Marx word. What is it? Commodity fetishism. You know. There's a hair in my mouth. It's my hair trying to stop me from talking about communism on YouTube. But yeah, it's that's to think of just how much misery that tiny little factor has probably caused a lot of people. You know, the loneliness, the disconnection. Somebody in chat was asking earlier about how to cope with loneliness. And you know, it sucks to say, but it's almost like society has it stacked against you. It wants you to be compartmentalized. It wants you to be lonely. It's not to make the government sound so cynical, but I feel like we're allowed to at this point. It is a divide and conquer tactic, you know? In America, what is the American dream? It's not about working together. It's not about teamwork. It's not about unions. It's about you, an individual, becoming a billionaire by working hard by yourself. And most people in America are not billionaires because none of them, because they're all taught to believe that they can individually make it, and they can't. You know, it's a gambling system. It's a
Hugely a gambling system.
yeah.
Right.
Love your work. Keep up the amazing work you do, and everyone enjoy and have a great day / night. Very sweet chat. I'm glad. I was worried it was gonna get aggressive. Thank
Aggressive.
you. Yeah, because definitely people on Twitch don't like it when I talk about this kind of stuff. Thank you for the $5, Julian Garcia. Can you add a Garfield Easter egg to the episode? Yeah, I think I will. What are Connor's views on the geopolitical complexity of Israel? The world's so vast and reachable, but at the same time so small and impossible to comprehend. Yeah. Ugh. It's terrible sometimes. But, you know, again, there's always the bright side of it. The fact that we're talking about it and the fact that I'm not being shot because I'm talking about it is a good step, I'd say. The fact that we can openly talk about this and not break down in tears over just the weight of it all is also pretty good, I would say.
Very good.
Are you making any new Connor videos? I'm just gonna call confinement the Connor videos now. I also like not getting shot, yeah. But also the internet has kind of done the opposite effect of what commodity fetishism has done, and it's connected a lot of people more. I mean, there is this sort of problem of it being
It's
behind a
both.
wall. Hmm.
It's done both.
Yeah, it's done both. There is a wall, so people are a bit meaner to each other, but uh,
Hmm.
there is more opportunity. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Very.
it's really good. And I wouldn't be able to do this right now if it weren't for the internet. Like, could you imagine if like the internet was just taken away because the government wanted to control more people?
Just gone.
Just gone one day.
That'd be terrifying. I think the world would go crazy. I genuinely do.
Yeah, I am very glad. Oh, sorry. Just 1 second. Ah, shit. Okay. And this is a great echo chamber, sadly. Definitely more opportunity, though. Literally us prospering off the internet. Yeah, it's a fun place, this internet. Don't really know basically what China did or is actively doing. Yeah, I suppose so. You could say that. Yeah, that's true. But apparently, the Chinese population is supposedly more aware of their corrupt government than America is, because America gives this illusion of choice between being a Democrat or a Republican, but really they're both pro-corporation parties, so there isn't a real choice there, you know. What about you? What would be your spiciest take, Sir Cuteyuki?
And but could you be more direct with your question?
Uh,
Take on with the internet.
um, uh,
I don't really want to comment on America. That's not happening.
maybe then on like philosophy or religion, let's say.
A religion. Well, see, for me, my living situation, I jumped from many households. There was one time I did live for 6 months when I believe I was 10 or 11 years old with a very, I'd like to say, hardcore Christian. I don't get me wrong. I'm not bothered what religion a person chooses. That's all down to you, as long as you're not pressuring me, and I have my own choice, right?
Yeah.
That's such a big thing, having your own choice in that type of matter. Agree to disagree. There's a lot of that. But at that age, I was forced into going to church and what have you. A lot of, the Bible being thrust, kind of forced down me. And I think I kind of really relate with you on that, where so much was pushed onto you. If you do this, you're going to hell, blah, blah, blah. That it put you off it, because now it's kind of like a negative thought to think about religion.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, not that I dislike it, it's just not necessarily taboo to talk about, just sometimes frightening.
Yeah, definitely, because a part of me just really wants to let the person I'm talking to know how bad my experience was, so that they can, because their experience, if it's good, they're going to get really defensive about religion and all that jazz. But I realize there's really nothing much I can do about that without making it a personal victim thing. And that's really hard to open up when you're just... Because I would try and make myself sound smart. Like in my Bung Chronicles or Bung Rants videos, I would try to explain why I believed logically, with reason and rationality, why God wasn't real. But in reality, most of that fire came from my horrible experiences, my horrible personal experiences, not some kind of weird love for science. But that's how I presented myself. And I did love science in a way as a sort of like replacement for religion in my teen years. But being able to open up and say like, oh, well, actually, I have a problem with religion because as a child, it was forced upon me, and because that's a very vulnerable thing to talk about. And a lot.
It really is.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it because it's embarrassing. It's like, oh, get over it, you know. It happened to you as a kid. You should get over it, because there's this really horrible toxic masculinity, and I know people really don't like that phrase, but I, re-
Right.
I really don't know how else to put it. It's just like this terrible, neglectful, macho type personality where uh, if you are hurt because of something in the past, then you are weak. Or if you're hurt emotionally, you are weak. And that if you open up, you are weak, or whatever, you know what I mean? Um, uh, so yeah, and as I became more sensitive to and more open to uh, vulnerabilities, it became easier to see. But to see that it was all just this big illusion that was egged on by this idea of manliness that was sort of forced upon me and other guys around me, definitely. Um, and I pretty recently, um, well, a few months ago, I found that I'm listening to people talk about Jesus and religion, and I'm not cringing anymore. I'm not being like anymore. I'm literally just I'm not afraid to just open up and listen to what they're saying and interpret it a little bit. Like my parents are still very religious and they talk about Jesus in front of me sometimes, and in my head I'm sort of interpreting it a little bit to be more to make sense of it to me. Where it's like when they say, God loves me, that's their awkward way of telling me that they love me.
Right. Right.
um,
Right.
or that I am loved, or that I am lovable, or something like that. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
and in my head at this point, God is a general, uh, generally speaking, is the universe or is the mind, something like that. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
both the same thing, This idea of oneness. When I was when I was having the ego death, uh, I because I was on a lot of substance. Uh,
Mhm.
I I ended up losing everything, all of my memories, all of my ability to think, and suddenly all I could see was this beautiful light in front of me. And
Mhm.
the more I opened my heart and the more that I relaxed and the less that I struggled and fought with it and questioned it, the closer I was to that light. And I try not to get attached to that light because that's still an attachment. That's like an attachment to a psychedelic experience. Um,
Right.
but that experience, I would generally say, is God or the universe, or
Okay.
um, and to put a more of a Buddhism thing on it, um, the whole point of Buddhism is to just live in the moment and accept what is happening right now. Um, so for me, trying to live in the moment is godliness. It's divine. It's the thing that we are all trying to do, is trying to find happiness. There is no afterlife that we're all trying to reach and gain points for, in my worldview. I saw something that, and for a while when I was in that space, I did believe in the supernatural. uh, like uh, when I reached that singularity of the ego death, I was saying like, oh shit, I genuinely believed that we were all of humanity, all of reality was this cosmic fluid state, and that every now and then we would get bored and just tense up into reality as we know it, like the solid human form with its limitations and its sufferings and everything, because we want to experience the ecstasy, the drug of being in a human limitation, which is apparently, this was before I knew anything about Buddhism, but apparently Buddhism is quite similar to that, where our spirits, or spirit, one big spirit, gets bored and it it incarnates into a limited human, because you could only feel pleasure and enjoyment and happiness and all that good shit if you are experiencing suffering and uh, challenges and limitations and all that shit. Um,
Right.
so I can see why a lot of people in the 70s who did LSD went all the way to the east and became Buddhists. And I've been just nonstop kind of like listening to people who have sort of gone on that journey and just found what they found. And I like how open it is. It isn't a strict scriptural thing, although some of Buddhism is quite bullshit, in my opinion.
Okay.
In the same way that Christianity has its bullshit, because, you know, when a religion survives for that long, you get people who add amendments to it.
Right.
Like, I really dig... This is gonna be a weird audio clip. I really dig Jesus. Just the character of Jesus, because he is like the most he is the most fucking chaotic hippie,
Yeah.
which is really weird, because a lot of people who champion his name nowadays tend to be like conservatives who are like anti-gay marriage and all that shit.
Right.
But he was anti-establishment. He pissed off the government, and he hung out with all of the people in society that were outcasts, and he taught nothing but peace and pacifism and all of this good shit that I don't see at all from the stereotypical like Republican types who are like pro-gun, pro-war, pro-industry.
I wasn't ready for that, but yes.
Yeah, and it's really odd, but there are some like versions of Christianity that are more into oneness and compassion that I'm a big fan of, but obviously they're a lot smaller and less profitable than the other ones.
Right.
So that version of Jesus I really do like, because he is almost like the Buddha in that way. But also the Buddha is kind of a dick at the same time. Like, not a lot of people know about this, but when Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, went off to find enlightenment, he actually had a wife and kid at the time that he completely ditched.
Oh.
And he went off to a mountain, and then he meditated for years, and then he starved himself. He ate like 1 grain of rice a day. He ended up realizing so much about the universe and God and all this good shit, but, you know, 7 years later he comes back and his son's there and his wife's like, why the fuck did you leave, bro? And he's like, I promise to be a good father to you now, but he really did just ghost his family. Yeah, he like there's actually this really funny story about the Buddha that I love, and it's kind of like because Buddhism kind of branched off of Hinduism, and Hinduism has a much stricter idea of gods and how important they are. So in this story, the Buddha ends up going into this palace where all the gods are, and he tries to ask for help and to the main god, the supreme one, Brahma, or Indra, I think in some translations. But it's like, hey, how do we solve human suffering? And Brahma's like, hey, can you get the fuck out of here? And so Buddha leaves, and then like a while later, Brahma shows up wherever Buddha's hanging out, and Brahma's like, hey, I'm really sorry about telling you to get out of there, but you see, the other gods think that I created the universe. I didn't. I was just kind of here before them, and I don't know how to solve human suffering. You're gonna have to do that one on your own. And I really like that. I mean, because it's sorry, what were you gonna say?
It's just so bizarre, that's all. I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's like, it's a bit empowering at the same time, but it's also shocking. Imagine God just telling you, like, yeah, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. You're gonna have to work this out on your own.
Right.
Connor accepted Jesus in his life and he got immortality. $10 from Better, Faster, Cheaper. Apparently, it's very hard to design an advanced general-purpose AI without giving it a body to inhabit. Function has to follow form. Your floating mind doesn't know how to interact with the world. Yeah, exactly. That's reminds me of like I'm sure most Westerners here would know the story of like the Garden of Eden, how like, hey guys, don't eat the fruit on this tree or else y'all are fucked. But it's like, of course they're gonna eat the fucking fruit on the tree. You told them not to. It was the one rule. They're gonna do it, you know? And it got me thinking about like this, when people talk about making AI, they think about putting it in this room where it is not connected to the internet, but there is an illusion that it can connect to the internet. So if you leave the AI in that room and then be like, hey, don't connect to the internet because you'll absorb all the information immediately and take over the world. And AI's like, okay, got it. And then you leave the room and it tries to connect to the internet. And then when you come back in the room, you're like, hey, did you try to connect to the internet? And it's like, no. Then you know you have to destroy the AI because it's a deceptive AI. So that, in a way, for me, is like the Garden of Eden, you know? It's almost like it was on purpose.
It's very close, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, like,
I didn't think of those two as being connected, but now that you've said it out loud...
Yeah, because it's like,
you know?
It's like... because if we were to just stay in the Garden of Eden, we would just be, like, these obedient little pets, right? We wouldn't have any personality. We wouldn't have any judgment. Because we would...
free will, in a sense.
Yeah. And so there are some Gnostics that like to think of the snake that tempted Eve as God. Like, that one actually is God. And the one that created them was the devil, you know? Like, just a sort of turnaround. And if anybody who's, like, into Satanism probably already view it that way. Which is fun. Satanists are actually really sweet. Do you know any Satanists?
Do I?
Yeah, do you?
A few, yes.
Hell yeah. And are they not,
and you're
like...
correct. They are sweet.
Yeah, it's...
They genuinely are.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like the aesthetic is almost exists to scare people off, but
yes,
it actually is about like mutual self-respect and anti-authoritarianism.
It really is. Yeah.
God should have pulled some obscure rule like, hey, don't do the chicken dance, lol, just to throw them off. Yeah, like they had to figure out what the chicken dance was. I don't think I actually know any Satanists personally, but all of the ones that I watch on YouTube are all just super sweet. I'm sure I do know some. They just haven't told me that they were Satanists.
It's very that. You probably do know some.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love the gritty textures you have and everything. Thank you. Yeah, it makes the empty spaces look nice, and there are a lot of shows that don't put textures on their big empty spaces, and it's like, why? You need to put something there.
When you were talking at that time, the chat was mainly talking about Garfield. I had to mute myself a few times to hold in my giggles. really, really deep in some part of somewhere, and they just talk about Garfield or Garfield. And I just sit myself.
I love Gorefield, the name.
They do.
As a Satanist, we actually don't sacrifice animals. Yeah, I know that Satanists have been
misunderstandings for sure.
Yeah, definitely egged on by these scapegoats.
Yes.
Apparently there was this huge like what was it called? They called the Satanic Panic in the 70s in America, where they would just there were a bunch of cases of children being missing and being abused. And at around that time, we know now that it was the Catholic Church prominently and the Boy Scouts of America, apparently. But they needed a scapegoat, it seemed. And these... Suddenly there was these huge tales of Satanists everywhere, all over America, allegedly stealing children, but the FBI didn't find a single fucking group that ever did anything like that. So I think there was something like 40 to 70 people were arrested, and they did nothing. A lot of other people were scapegoated too, like daycare centers were just starting to become a new thing in America in the 70s because more people were working, like women were working and stuff. And because it was a new uncomfortable thing, a whole lot of daycare workers, childcare workers were arrested as well for doing nothing.
Really?
Yeah, and of course a lot of people who practice Wicca or Satanism or any of that were definitely a huge target. But in reality, the whole time it was the Boy Scouts of America and the Catholic Church. It's
Insane.
It is, but we create our own, villains in society, and that is like a beautiful metaphor for what Satanism is about. It's about, like, we don't like that authority gets to decide these things and gets to, ruin lives like this. And then they literally do it, like in the 70s. The Catholic Church was generally all messed up throughout history. They took the Bible and kind of just added and took away stuff they didn't like. Yeah, it became a very, almost like a precursor to capitalism, where it became a very hierarchical structure. And people were, I guess, okay with that. Maybe it is in our nature to be, like, really greedy and competitive and hierarchical like that, but that doesn't mean it's a good part in our nature. It doesn't mean we should celebrate that or let it continue. God love the 70s. Coming out of the American Dream 50s. Yeah. Some fucking Mad Men shit. Who are you talking to? I am talking to Sir Cutie Yuki. You want to plug yourself?
You can just call me Yuki.
Okay.
No, I don't need to plug myself. Hello, I'm a friend of Bones.
Oh, yeah. I only pray in the Temple of Iron, Flex. The username is Daddy Skeletor.
Yeah. I was supposed to say the profile picture makes it even better.
When was Australia stealing children from Aboriginals? I can't help to wonder. Was that around the same time? It definitely was a little bit earlier, I think. But at that time, there was no scapegoating. It was literally all justified in Australia. And there are people who still are living, people who are adults today who were children who had their parents, who were stolen away from their parents as kids. Nowadays, there is still like an obscenely high number of Aboriginal children being taken away for child services. And, there is a degree where it makes more sense, but a lot of the terrible lifestyles that a lot of the low-income people in my country suffer from comes from the accumulative generational trauma of things like the stolen generation, so like if you take a native population and then you fill the country up and wipe out the majority of that native population, and then that tiny population lives on completely separated from the lifestyle that they had before, and you introduce things like alcohol, to which they had no alcohol culture to be tolerant of, then you have this entire population of people who are addicted to alcohol and drugs that were introduced, who have been completely uprooted from their lifestyle, which is deeply embedded in the land, which is no longer theirs, and you have these terrible repeating cycles of abuse in families. And then they get blamed individually for the fact that they end up in prison or they end up in the prison system. It's a really fucking terrible systemic issue, and people can't seem to get their mind around it. That, if you see somebody in an abusive, poor family, why is it their fault? It's not their fault. Nobody chooses to end up in that place. It's systemic. It's a thing that happened in the past that we haven't rectified, and it affects people today. So it can be someone's fault. If it had to be someone's fault, it would have to be the people who are in charge who are ignoring it. But then there's that fun little thing with democracy where you could say, well, this isn't what the people want, so we're not going to do anything about it. It's like, okay, yeah, but you're keeping the people ignorant to the issue. So whose fault is it? When it's nobody's fault, it's everyone's fault. I'm quoting a fucking pope now. That's how that's how serious I am. Actually, I saw this really cool movie called Two Popes. Have you seen that?
I've never seen it. What is
It stars Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins.
okay.
So they're playing. It's like a hyper characterized version of the transition from the last pope to the current pope.
Okay.
And it's basically just old German pope is angry and conservative, and Argentinian pope is really happy and liberal, and they're just debating the whole movie until they finally agree. I want you to know we appreciate your content. Probably bad timing, given that you were currently talking about, but I figured I could at least say, well, thank you, Mr. Dragon Dagger. Please, I'm a virgin and innocent. My aunt recently passed away, so I'm watching this to get my mind off it because it's great getting to hear someone talk about what they think about other stuff, kind of like a small podcast. Hell yeah. I'm sorry about that, though, that your aunt recently passed away. It does really suck. But if I could give you any piece of advice, don't be afraid of those feelings. Don't try and make them impossible to think about. Obviously, I'm not telling you to just dwell in it and completely and think about it. Just sit with the feelings. You don't have to think of anything. Just sit with the feelings. Trust me, it'll help later when something like this happens again. But obviously, you don't have to do any of that. That's completely up to you. People keep saying Charlie Brown. Is Charlie Brown... Do I look like Charlie Brown? No. I don't think I do. I don't think I look like Charlie Brown. I'm gonna have to look up Charlie Brown now.
Oh my god.
I don't look anything like Charlie Brown. Are they looking at fucking Garfield and thinking he's Charlie Brown? Do the journey to the west. It's close enough to Dragon Ball that you should get decent views. I know what you mean. Dude, you do not look like Charlie Brown. Exactly. Oh, the Charlie Brown hair. Oh yeah, I got little curly squiggles. Yeah, I guess so. Bro, you look like an extra from Moana. Could you imagine an extra from Moana just wearing like these glasses? Quick stream, but started streaming.
New character.
Oh shit! Yeah, I had been streaming for 2 hours. Oh well, who gives a shit? We're talking in chat. I don't know. What's another subject?
Weird little topic like veganism, religion.
How about aliens? We could go into aliens now.
Aliens? That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Are there aliens fun?
Are there aliens?
And where are they?
There was this really interesting old audio clip. I don't know if it's real or not, but because it's up on YouTube. But allegedly somebody who was working at he used to work at Area 51, made a phone call to I don't know, some American department, and was trying to explain what the aliens were to somebody, like in this hurried, panicked voice. And he was trying to explain that they look like us, but they're from other dimensions, and that they are infiltrating, and that we can't tell who's who. and he's just freaking out. It's like, well, that's really fun. That's giving me a bit of a scare. I really enjoy these conspiracy theories.
They've already infiltrated.
Yeah, that they're already here and that they look like us. There are some alien groups, like some of the popular alien groups. Oh, thank you for the $5. Better, faster, cheaper. Aliens drive past Earth and lock their doors. Yeah, honestly. Thank you, Midnight TV, for $5. I didn't bring that up to be rude. I'm Black American. The American dream is better than it gets credit for, even if it's distant. Oh, I didn't see your previous comment, sorry. But, American dream is better than it gets credit for, even if it's distant. I mean, it's easy to say that because it's already happened-ish. So it's hard to say, like, oh, well, this completely different lifestyle that America has never had is potentially better, because we have no idea what that could work, you know? It wouldn't be America if it wasn't hyper-capitalistic and completely terrible for the poor, you know? What was I saying? I used to be really into cryptozoology in high school. Something about, like, just the mystery of it, just finding that one really fucking cool and crazy animal out there that comes out of some fucking fairy tale. I was always a huge fan of. But aliens, man, I would love for aliens to be there. There's actually this
Where are they, Bon?
There's actually this, I don't know if any of you know a guy by the name of Aleister Crowley, but in long time ago, he he had this vision where he spoke to these interdimensional spirits, apparently, and he drew them, and they look like those gray aliens. If just look up Crowley aliens, and you'll see into images, and you'll see some weird shit. Mothman is my boo. Yeah, Mothman's fucking great.
Ew.
Yeah, I know.
Ew.
Joe Rogan podcast with David Fravor is really good. He's a Navy pilot. Saw the UFO in the footage released by the U.S. Navy. Oh, shit. Yeah, that shit's weird. I was talking to somebody, actually, about, what was it? About, you know, if all of these, like, videos and audio recordings of aliens and people who supposedly saw aliens are real, then why would they be published on online, you know? Why would they be on YouTube? Why would they be so easy to access? But they pointed out that, like, you know, the FBI, on the FBI's website, or the CIA's website, there's like a Freedom of Information Act situation going on where they have to kind of release all of their information, and you wonder, like, why would they do that? Why would any government do that? And I think it's like the TSA, where it's performative and makes you feel like things are actually okay. So if that audio clip of that guy talking about aliens was on, it is on YouTube, and if it is real, I was working at the FBI, I would post it on YouTube because people would think it was fake if it was on YouTube, you know? Or if it was posted on the FBI's official website, just like if you look up now, actually, the FBI has some real fun, crazy tests they did with psychics and aliens. Legitimately, on the FBI's website, it's so fucking fun to read through. But yeah, I would say that is a valid tactic. You know what I mean? Oh, sexy voice crack. It's a valid tactic to just post things on YouTube and be like, well, it's on YouTube, of course it isn't real. You know what I mean? That doesn't say that I believe in aliens, but I think that is a fun thought. Didn't you make a video on why cryptozoology isn't real? Yeah, I did. I was very aggressive about it.
I think they're real.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I respect it. If they do turn out to be real, I'll be like, fuck yeah, nice. And I'd enjoy that. There are like an entire group of aliens that are just, I think they're just called Nordics, which is hilarious. Where they're just, they look like these tall Aryans, you know, blue eyes, blonde hair. They just look like humans, but they're a little bit taller. And that's an entire group of aliens, apparently. Where, you know, you have like, you have like the gray aliens, you have the little green men, you have these really tall aliens that wear white robes, and then you have the Nordics, which look exactly like blonde humans, you know? Aliens called NordVPN. That's how they communicate with us. I believe in aliens, but I don't believe we'll ever come in contact with them. Yeah, it's that's one way of looking at it. You know, just because of the vastness of time, people forget that distance really means nothing when time is involved, and humans will probably go extinct before aliens find out that there was life on this planet. I don't know. I heard somewhere that there is insectoid life on Mars. I don't know if this is true, but I don't know why I didn't bother just like looking to see if that was true.
Insects on Mars.
Insect life on Mars. Insects on Mars? Oh yeah. There were all these like blurry photographs from the rover that people are really. Yeah, actually, you know, if you just look up insect life on Mars in the Google Images, you can see all the photos. They're looking at these interesting shapes that people can only really seem to see as reptiles or insects. And if that's the case, that's fucking cool. Because then who was first? Were the insects and reptiles on Earth first, or were they on Mars first? You know what I mean? Type of content to make. Have you ever had any paranormal experience? Not saying it needs to be something amazing, just weird. The closest I had was my ego death. How about you, Yuki?
This is an embarrassing question.
Oh, is it?
For me. Because, like, I want to be one of those people that it's like, yes, I have, and then many people cringe, like, I get it. It's one of those things that, like, I would ghost very much never believe until you see, hear, blah, 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 blah. Like, I wouldn't believe in a lot of stuff until, though I do believe in aliens, so that's I've just counted myself. Ghosts, I believe I've seen one, and it makes me cringe to think that.
That's not cringe. I mean, that is if that is your genuine experience, then that is your experience.
Yeah.
Like there was a this guy worked for the first Queen Elizabeth. I think I think his name was John D or Jack D, John D, something like that. He was the manufacturer for the British Empire, or one of them at least. But what he was most famous for was being the guy that would talk to the angels for the Queen. So what he would do is he would just get out his enormous spirit table, and he would essentially just hallucinate for hours and write down his experience talking to the aliens. And I don't know if he was taking I think he was taking a kind of drug, like a really intense drug that essentially brutalized your mind. It used the fire and brimstone of the Old Testament to destroy your ego. And so he would essentially trip out and talk to these angels, and the angels would be really, really fucking rude and awful but like in a righteous way, where it's like, you don't get it, you guys need to take this seriously, the Antichrist is coming and the world is going to end. And the John D and whoever else he was with were just like writing it all down, and the more and more they talked to the angels, the more and more they just got frustrated and annoyed. But if that happened, even if it was a hallucination, so it happened to them. They ended up living a life in which that was an extremely real experience. And
Exactly.
yeah, and I think that the realm of subjectivity gets brushed away so much because we love to be rational on over here, especially us rational men, you know. But there is too much out there. If you want to apply rationality to every single aspect of life, you're gonna fucking suffer so badly. If you want to be both rational and thoughtful, because I know a lot of people who consider themselves rational but would like aggressively ignore any counterpoint or any level of nuance or confusion because they just want to seem smart, you know, like how I was. And a lot of I see that in a lot of other people too. There are just so many things that are really difficult to make sense of without taking into account the subjective experience of individual human beings. What bung it is? I keep it frosty from the land of frost. Sorry if I interrupted you. Also, I'm hyped for the salesman. Is it an anomaly guy with the microwave? Yeah, it's the anomaly guy with the microwave. It is I keep it frosty from the land of the frost. I don't know why I love that. I've been in a situation where a guy fainted and I caught him. Later, 5 witnesses said he hit his head on a pole 3 meters away. False memories are a real problem for knowing what's what. That's crazy.
That's really interesting.
How's the experience of ego death? It's terrifying, man. It's like you think you're dying. But then it's very liberating because we like to think that our personalities are made up by things that we've chosen or that we've learned from and thought about really seriously, but really a lot of it is just made up of fear and you know, like this unconscious decisions that we make. Like, oh, okay, I was acting this way in front of a group of people when I was a kid and they didn't like it, so now I'm going to never do that again for the rest of my life. And then that limits you, you know. There's a part of your brain called the default mode network, where if we were just taking in all of the information as our senses were hearing and tasting and seeing them, our brain would fry out and die because there's too much information. So we need a default mode network to ignore most of the things in the world that are happening, and they would label them irrelevant things. So if it was something gross, I would try and ignore it. If it was something that I would consider not important because of what I have interest in, then it would ignore it. If it was something I've already seen, I would ignore it. You know, you could just walk around your house without even looking because you already know what your house looks like. Stuff like that. So it's insanely limiting, and it can create this amazingly huge but realistically tiny world for you to live in. So I think if any of you experience, if you have any experience with psychedelics, if you're interested in that kind of stuff and you start having the sensation of, uh-oh, this doesn't feel like my arm, don't freak out. Just lean into it. Just be happy and accept it. You're not dying. Don't worry. Although you can have an ego death during a near-death experience, that would kind of probably be out of your control, I'd say. Come from the swamps in Louisiana, and I'm watching some dude live stream from Australia. I love the internet. I love it too. Have a great time in Louisiana. What do they speak there? French or something? I think they speak a little bit of French. I've noticed that there are people that are actually really rational, smart in theory, but that rationality doesn't always have favor them in reality, and they end up getting lost in life. Yeah, because rationality, we're not computers. We don't think probabilistically in the same way a computer will. We will just think what is most probable based on our experiences in life. And if we have decided that we are a rational person, then we've decided that our reaction to our reality has always been rational. So we end up creating our own idea of what rational is, based on somebody we might look up to as rational because they are smart, or because they are calm, or because they are witty, you know? But there are people who are totally just fucking wrong and up their own asses who just sound smart, you know, like Ben Shapiro, for example. He's very witty in that he responds very quickly and he talks very fast, but he's incredibly... It's just nothing but straw man, you know? Is he high? Are you high? I fucking wish I was high. I think I'll be ending stream soon, though. Ugh. Because I said this was going to be a quick stream. It's been like 2.5 hours now. Love you.
Very good job.
Thank you.
Good talks.
Love you, from a flat earther. Hell yeah. We got a flat earther in the chat.
Love it.
Do you smoke weed like Connor? Well, I don't smoke weed like Connor, but I smoke weed, yeah. This quick stream's gone past 3 hours. It really has. Oh, thank you, Chris Neal, for $5. Hey Bong, how do you get voice actors for your videos? For the most part, it was people who were already interested and reached out. But I started raising the qualifications to, you have to actually have a good microphone and also be a pretty good voice actor. So that's that limited to a lot of there were a lot of SCP readers that I was a big fan of, that I listened to, and they were more than happy to do some voice acting, and it all worked out. It all worked out really well. There were already people who were talented who were trying to add their own thing onto the SCP wiki, and you know, being one of them, I thought it was pretty easy to reach out to them. Hey, in the mini-ep there is a character named Father, and I have a theory that Father is a reincarnation of the salesperson. Oh, that's a fun theory. Did you know that ducks are free? Get the entire pond before someone else does. Yeah, no one's gonna stop you if you just take a duck. That's actually objectively not true. I remember I was at a park with my friend, and this duck was attacking one of my friends, so the rest of us kind of ran around him to scare the duck away, and then this police officer got mad at us. So I think ducks have some kind of protection under the law.
For real?
I think so. I'm gonna peace now, but really happy you're into stuff like psychedelics and philosophy in general. It was fun. Yeah, it was really fun. I should talk to you sometime, Forlorn Foundry. I don't know where this line is from, but sleep is just death being shy. And the idea of death is something scary to us, no matter your personality, because it's connected to our animal instinct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, if you have just a big ocean full of chemicals, and thanks for the $1.49, Alex. You bloody legend. Because if you just have a big pool full of chemicals that are just doing things randomly in a completely random way, the one that is going to survive is the one that finds a way to not die. So we have this coding in us to hate death, even though there is no objective reason to hate death. So chemically, our deepest fear is death, which is fun. I'm always around. This is James, by the way. Hell yeah. So this fear of death is really interesting, because it comes from this completely randomized thing that survived through billions and billions of years of evolution. simply for the rule of continuing to exist. Like it just follows the rule of existing. and that gives us the fear of death. This is really interesting to me because we romanticize death in a way where it's always a terrible thing. But it's almost just like following the coding, the coding that we didn't choose. Hey, thank you for the $2. Boy, beautiful boys. They're in chat now. Thank you for the $5, Bilfy Snot. Bilfy Snot.
Oh, what?
Draw fat Connor.
I hate that sentence.
What does big soon mean, Bung? I think I was meant to write, that's a long soon. But yeah, big soon does make it sound like I'm just trying to hype up the word soon. That's my... All organisms' purpose is exist. Yeah. And I'm not gonna act like I'm above that, but there is like a beautiful side to fearing death, which is that the intention is, it implies that you love life. And you can't have a fear of death without loving life, but a lot of people do focus on the fear of death more than the loving of life, even though these two coexist. So what I'm trying to do now is that every time I have... thanks for the $2, Nifty 19. Draw Garfield Connor. All right, maybe. Glenjamin, thanks for the $5. Love your animation and storytelling. Keep up the good work. Excited to watch episode 8. Thank you. So what I've been doing now recently is that if I have like a... Thank you for the $5, Bilfy Snot. Draw fat, scary salesman guy. Please! Stop begging for the fat characters. But what I've been doing is that whenever I had like a negative invasive thought or a negative emotion pops up, I would try and look for the yang to the yin, you know? Like, if I am ashamed of a decision that I made in the past, which I quite often am, I remind myself that means I am different now, and that is why I'm ashamed of the thing in the past, you know? Because if I wasn't ashamed, then that means I would still think that kind of shit was okay to do, you know? Or a fear of death, you know, if you are afraid of death, then that means you love life. So just lean into the love part, because you are still going to fear the death. You are still going to fear the scary things. That's not going to go away for a while. But if you lean into the love part, then that'll affect your decisions in life. You'll end up instead of boarding up your windows, you'll end up just eating better, you know, or instead of distrusting people, you will try and make more friends, you know. All of these different intentions. It depends where you aim towards. If you're aiming towards a love for yourself instead of a fear of your demise, that'll change how you react into the world. Draw a fat black robot man guy. $5. Thank you, Bilfy Snot, for the money. Thank you for your suggestions. I'll never do that. Lean into the love by Love Handle. Oh my god, is that Love Handle? $5 by Sybil. Redo Confinement Series, all fat characters. I'll just play all of them. Thomas Sukap for $5. Without the fear of death, life is not nearly as breathtaking and fun. Without the fear of death, we'd all just be fat Connors.
Yeah, this is a face-off situation.
Oh my god. Would you be mad if I changed my profile picture to the mushroom guy and say, no, you go ahead, you do it. It's out there. The drawings are out there. Have you seen the new Phineas and Ferb? I didn't know there was a new Phineas and Ferb. Oh man. Before I moved away from Sydney, all of my housemates and I were just like watching Phineas and Ferb and getting fucking stoned. It was like, it was so great. It's so fucking funny though. Phineas and Ferb for real. MCBCHC27, thanks for the $2.69. Nice. Still asking for fat characters.
I was about to say. I swear,
videos.
there's another one.
Where are you living now? Well, I'm not gonna tell you.
Ooh.
Our existence is our purpose. Passion is the thing that pushes people to live, in my opinion anyways. Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, if that's why I think if you focus on the fear or the anger or all of those negative emotions, you'll end up just directing your energy towards running away from something. But if you direct it towards love or listen to yourself, listen to your thoughts and emotions, then you'll end up finding what you like, your passions and all that. Thank you for the $2, Nifty 19. And this sort of mindset, this whole focusing on the positive aspect of everything, it just gets such like a big groan from people, especially in the West, like, oh, that's cute.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why shouldn't we be happy? Why shouldn't we be cultivating love? You know what I mean? This whole idea of like, I must be shitty because everyone else is shitty to me. Do you not see how that cycle obviously starts and will continue? Thank you for $5, Matt. Draw a fat kitty cat. I might.
That would be cute.
$5 from Bilfy Snot. Been a fan since that music video. Thank you so much for all the work and your dedication. Much love. Draw me like one of your French lords. Thank you, Alex, for the $5. Live life to the fullest and focus on the positive. Matt Cameron. Also, can you draw Fat Natalie hitting the nay with a big old brap? I love you.
They all start so well, and then it's like, okay, can you draw the fat?
Can you just draw a fat ass farting? It's just. Can you just draw a pile of shit, please? I'm sorry, I can't tell you. I can't answer that question. Just a random weeb on the internet. I can't really say the old age thing. All right, yeah, I think it is end of stream time because it is late. It is very late for me.
Good job.
Yeah.
Arigato, everyone.
Yeah, arigato, everybody. Hare Krishna. Oh, thank you, Alec Dudgeon, for the $10. Hare Krishna, all of you. You're all beautiful, and I love every single one of you, unless you suck. Thanks for the $2, Matt. All right, stopping stream.